This film is purely fictional. Please do not imitate it. Your like and subscribe are the motivation for me to update. Chapter 760. South City, I will protect it. The night is getting darker. The Battle of Wuhai City, which lasted from noon to dusk, is finally coming to an end. After killing Sakura Taro, Nanfeng returned to Wuhai City and brought in hundreds of chosen ones. He and Xiao Luo teamed up to block Zhao Yanjua's resurrection point, killing him as soon as he was resurrected. Without Zhao Yanjua, the rest of the Zhao family and the chosen ones of Sakura country had no power to resist, and the battle became one-sided. Some of the smart chosen ones of Sakura country, knowing that there was no chance of a comeback, teleported away directly. But there were still a small number of chosen ones who continued to fight for their great Sakura empire. Nanfeng didn't tolerate these people and killed them all, leaving no one alive. As for the Zhao family, after experiencing several life and death experiences, they gradually lost the ability to revive. Some people chose to surrender, and some were killed on the spot. The situation soon stabilized. Under the command of Huang Yuanming, Wu Yuanqing and others, the people of Nancheng began to clean up the battlefield. In the basement of Wuhai City, the one-armed hero Nanfeng and Xiao Luo, who was stabbed in the back, were still squatting here, waiting for Zhao Yanjua to revive again. Why do you say these beds can bring the dead back to life? Xiao Luo asked. The basement, which was originally full of beds, now only has 1/10 left. And next to each bed, there are 2 Nancheng chosen ones squatting. No one from the Zhao family can walk out of this spring alive. Nanfeng pondered for a moment, then said, I don't know, but it must be related to Suyana. In Nanfeng's impression, Suyana seems to have been using various methods to revive the dead. For example, Sikong Bushua before. For example, the Zhao family now. Is she doing some experiment? And, as Xiaonan said, these people who came back from the dead are not the original people. Nanfeng looked at the bed in front of him. He felt a large amount of magic flowing on the bed, and within a moment, it condensed into a chubby human body, which was Zhao Yanjua. Nanfeng couldn't remember how many times Zhao Yanjua had been resurrected, but he remembered that each time Zhao Yanjua was resurrected, his personality was different from the original one. It seems not quite accurate to say that he was resurrected from the dead. To be more precise, every time Zhao Yanjua was resurrected, he was a clone of the original Zhao Yanjua. Could it be that Suyana mastered the legendary cloning technology? On the bed, Zhao Yanjua opened his eyes dimly and stared blankly at the ceiling. According to previous experience, Nanfeng knew that he was loading memories now. But this time was different from the previous ones. Maybe because he had been resurrected too many times, Zhao Yanjua began to chew his fingers, while grinning foolishly. Hee. Laughing, Zhao Yanjua jumped off the bed and clapped his hands happily, and did not forget to scratch his butt. Nanfeng and Xiao Luo looked at each other. Is he stupid? Has he become mentally retarded after being resurrected so many times? It could also be that his memory system is disordered. The two did not rush to kill Zhao Yanjua, but wanted to observe him first, to learn more about the advantages and disadvantages of this resurrection ability. Zhao Yanjua opened his hands and ran happily in the basement. Oh, take off. Fly high. As he ran to the exit and flew out with a whoosh. Ha ha ha, you two idiots, I'm running out. Zhao Yanjua excited laughter came from outside. Nanfeng, Xiao Luo. Damn, it turns out that he was just pretending to be stupid, looking for a chance to escape from this hell on earth. Nanfeng and Xiao Luo did not chase him out, because after resurrecting in times, Zhao Yanjua's level has dropped to level 43. South City has several chosen ones, all of whom have the ability to kill him alone. For example, Wu Yuansheng. Where did this fat guy come from? Wu Yuansheng shot Zhao Yanjua down with a few arrows. Huang Yuanming was right near his landing point. He swung his long stick and hit a beautiful birdie, knocking Zhao Yanjua back. Swoosh. Bang. He fell heavily at the entrance of the basement, crying bitterly. Let me go. Please, don't torture me anymore. Zhao Yanjua cried loudly, but Nanfeng ignored him and shot him in the head. And +1 death. Nanfeng, look. Xiao Luo beside him suddenly said. Nanfeng turned around and saw that the bed that originally belonged to Zhao Yanjua was slowly becoming transparent, until it disappeared. He finally died. This time he died completely. Damn, where's the experience? Nanfeng glanced at the panel and found that the experience value only increased by less than 1%. This is the experience given according to level 43. But Zhao Yanjue was originally a level 45 strongman. Where is the difference? Nefeng quickly thought of the answer, and his face suddenly turned sour. You are so shameless. Suyana. After silently cursing Suyana 3,000 times in his heart, Nefeng could only accept this result. Leave the rest to the brothers. Nefeng said to Xiao Luo. Let's go back, and heal our wounds first. How is the injury on your back? Xiao Luo replied, it's almost healed. The two left the basement one after the other, and returned to the ground full of ruins. Nanshin. Your arm. Shenpan ran over from a distance, holding an arm. I searched for it in the ruins for most of the day, and finally dug it out from the cracks in the rocks. Thank you. Nanfeng took his right arm, put it on his shoulder, and gestured twice. Well, I find a nurse to sew it up later, and then use 200 healing spells, and finally recuperate for a few days, and it should be back to normal. Nan, don't want to be Yonghua. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound came from the east of Wuhai City. Nefeng could still vaguely feel the ground shaking. It's Mr. Tang, and the ancestor of the Zhao family. Nefeng frowned. They have been fighting for most of the day, and there is still no winner? Nefeng was a little worried, and didn't know how Mr. Tang was doing. The ancestor of the Zhao family seemed to be a water player. Fighting at sea was a big advantage for him. Let's go. Heal your wounds quickly. Nefeng made a decision. After the wound is healed, I will go over to take a look. Maybe I can help. Xiao Luo frowned. How can you help? You can't help in a level 46 battle. Nanfeng took out Sakura Taro's S-level life definition magic weapon, and said in a deep voice, if necessary, I will upgrade the life definition magic weapon. S-level life definition magic weapon is enough to cause some trouble to the ancestors of the Zhao family. Didn't you tell me not to upgrade just now? Now you want to upgrade yourself? Xiao Luo was speechless. Why is Nanfeng a bit hypocritical? It has to be upgraded after all. Nanfeng looked at the sky. I figured it out. If I can't even take this step, how can I reach the peak? Nanfeng's ultimate goal is to defeat Siyana and prevent Xiaonan godhood from being swallowed by her. Without the help of the life-defining magic weapon, how can he defeat Siyana? He can't just shout, don't underestimate the bond between us. Bastard, and rushed to die. Nanfeng looked at Xiao Luo and said, by the way, you don't need to upgrade your life-defining magic weapon. It's too dangerous. S-level life definition magic weapon. I'm enough. Nancheng. I protect it. Chapter 761. The Pass of Questioning the Heart. The Falling Sun Empire, the capital. The capital is located to the southwest of Wuhai City. If the direction where the sun rises in the primitive world is also defined as the east. So it gets dark later in the capital, and it is still dusk now. After listening to the report from his subordinates, Longwoody smiled and nodded. Brother Feng, you really killed Sakura Taro, so I don't have to go there myself. The current Longwoody, who has a big family and a big business, is no longer as free as when he first came to the primitive world. Whatever he does, he must first consider Longcheng, Beijing, his subordinates, and finally himself. This is very tiring, but he enjoys it. Flying Eagle, did those envoys do anything? Longwoody turned around and asked the Flying Eagle next to him. Flying Eagle shook his head. No tricks, all of them are law-abiding. And what? And they seem to really come here to learn. Business, animal husbandry, planting, infrastructure, in all aspects, they will not hesitate to ask questions, and will take notes very seriously. I can see that you haven't studied hard. Does it apply to this? Longwoody laughed and scolded. It's called asking questions from superiors, do you know? I was asked to drop out of school because of my poor grades, so I joined the army. Flying Eagle held his head high, still very proud. Longwoody smiled and shook his head, muttered, forget it, no matter what they think, just don't make trouble. However, who is the level 45 strongman hidden in the team? I have checked all the level 45 masters in the Falling Sun Empire, and none of them are here. This battle in Wuhai City of the Haoyu Empire caused a sensation in the entire primitive world, because the Zhao family came here live at the beginning. Now everyone knows that. There is a chosen one named Nanfeng who slaughtered civilians here. Nanfeng's reputation plummeted, and the reputation of Nancheng, Longhua, and the chosen ones, all fell to the bottom. In the cross-world chat channel, there are also many chosen ones from other countries blaming Nanfeng. They didn't dare to curse directly. They could only use metaphors, suggestive rhetoric, and sarcasm. Nafong didn't tolerate this, and directly sent a message in the chat channel. Nafong, if anyone keeps nagging me, I will launch an intercontinental missile carrying 6 walnuts tonight, and blow your whole family up to the sky. Copy, paste, and send 10 times in a row. Nafong, am super handsome. Sure enough, after Nafong said this, the cross-world chat channel suddenly became quiet. After all, at this point in time, no one dares to confront Nafong head-on. They only dare to secretly flirt with Nafong in private. Archie, ah, oh my god, I finally broke through level 45. Suddenly, Archie sent a message, and his joy was beyond words. There were a lot of replies below, such as congratulations, red envelopes, Big Boss 666, you go kill Nafong, etc. Wait, it seems that some strange information is mixed in? Unfortunately, the screen was refreshed too quickly, and Nafong didn't see who sent that message. Otherwise, he would have to teach him a lesson. Nafong also sent a message. Have you encountered a bottleneck? Why did you break through now? I killed a level 45. Archie, who had just been happy for less than 2 minutes, froze on his smile. After a while, he replied, I don't know if that counts as a bottleneck, but I always feel that I can't get over it. Obviously, the experience points are full, but I still can't reach level 45. Can't get over the mental barrier? Nafong scratched his head. What is the mental barrier? Why don't I have it? Xiao Luo on the side said, I was in a similar situation as him. When Xiao Luo broke through level 45, it took a lot of effort. On the other hand, Nafong just said I want to sleep, and he broke through easily. Comparing people is really annoying. In the chat channel, Father Amici, who hadn't spoken for a long time, spoke. Amos, I can't get over it either. Xuanqing, me too. That feeling, it's like there's a voice that keeps asking me, why do you want to break through? Why do you want to break through? Archie, add 1. Xiao Luo, add 1. Nafong, then the question is, why do you want to break through? Xuanqing, of course it's to become stronger, do I need to ask? Catherine Vina, your answer doesn't follow your heart. I didn't expect this topic to blow up Catherine. Since we parted at Dawn Town last time, Catherine has stayed in the fog and hasn't come out again. I don't know what she is doing. Xuanqing, isn't this following your heart? Come on. Ask. Who upgrades not to become stronger? Xiao Luo, my answer at the time was, to protect the people around me. Xuanqing, there are always 1 or 2 exceptions. Archie, what's your answer? Archie, me? I want to protect the children of Blue Star, so that they can thrive and not be eaten by aliens. Nafong mouth twitched. No, buddy. You don't still remember the joke I played on you. Do you? If it's because of me that you have a demon in your heart, then I'm really guilty. Xuanqing, as I said just now, there are always 1 or 2 exceptions. Catherine, what's your answer? Catherine Vina, anyway, it's not getting stronger. Xuanqing, okay, then I modify it. There are always 2 or 3 exceptions. Xuanqing, no. Your answer also needs to become stronger to be realized. If you are not strong enough, can you protect the people around you? What's wrong with my answer? Xiao Luo, you put the cart before the horse. Archie, that's right. Becoming stronger is not the goal. If the children of Blue Star can thrive, then why don't I break through? Seeing this sentence, Nafong could feel Archie's high spirits through the screen. He passed the self-examination. And now, he has a clear conscience. Xuanqing, is that so? Then I want to become stronger. And there is indeed a reason. Xuanqing, I want to revive my wife. Xuanqing, huh? I really made a breakthrough. Everyone. What resurrect? My love plot? Everyone said messages of congratulations such as congratulations. Congratulations. Big boss. You and Archie go kill Nafong together. This time, Nafong saw clearly that the strange news was sent by Huang Yuanming. Damn it. Find a chance to check his Huang family bath center. Anti-pornography. Everyone talked about Inquiry Pass for a while, and put forward their own opinions. The other chosen ones were also happy to share this knowledge with the big guys. By midnight, Nafong's injuries were finally healed. He waved his hand and asked the pastor sisters, who had been busy all night, to go back and rest. I'm going to go to the sea. and I leave Wuhai City to you. Na Feng said to Xiao Luo. What's your answer? Xiao Luo suddenly asked without any context. What? Self-examination pass. What's your answer? Na Feng frowned hard, and said uncertainly, I don't think. I haven't encountered the self-examination pass. Chapter 762. I also want to revive someone. When breaking through level 45, Na Feng did encounter a little bit of obstacles. But he soon broke through smoothly, and the situation that Archie said did not occur, and he did not hear any strange sounds. Why do you want to break through? This question itself is very strange. Why else could there be a reason? I have enough experience. Why not break through? Save it for the new year? Besides, Na Feng thinks Xuanqing's answer is also correct. If it is not for becoming stronger, who would work so hard to upgrade? The two engineering guys in Nancheng, they have no interest in upgrading, so they are only level 35 or 36 now. If this question is thrown to them, their answer may be, to develop more powerful technology, to combine magic with technology and so on. This is their truest thought. This kind of answer should allow them to pass the heart-searching test instantly. Right? People who work hard to upgrade and become stronger, it is difficult to pass the heart-searching test. On the contrary, salted fish who have no desire for power can pass it easily. It's really a bit of a reversal of the heavenly power. Na Feng left Wuhai City and flew towards the endless sea in the east. He was going to see how the battle between Mr. Tang and the ancestor of the Zhao family went. If possible, he didn't mind giving the ancestor of the Zhao family a shot. Na Feng now has full magic power, and is not afraid of being beaten dry. Not long after Na Feng left, Xiao Luo came to a very luxurious courtyard. There were many guards at the gate of the courtyard. Xiao Luo did not alarm them. He jumped over the wall with a light jump and entered the backyard. He looked around, identified the direction a little, and then walked quickly towards a room. Who? A cautious low voice came from the room. This was the voice of Yin Shuangying, the head of the Yin family. Head of the Yin family, it's me, I'm Xiao Luo. Xiao Luo replied. Oh, it's the hero Xiao Luo. Soon, the rustling sound of fabrics rubbing came from the room. Yin Shuangying put on his clothes, opened the door, and asked in confusion, It's so late, you came to see me, but what's the matter? Yes, it's very important. Xiao Luo nodded solemnly, then he said a little embarrassedly, Master Yin, I still want to buy that A-level peak life weapon. Yin Shuangying. Brother, let's play. Inside the mist Xuanqing. The city created by Xuanqing is also called Xuanqing. He is one of the few who is more useless than Na Feng in naming. Xuanqing, who just broke through level 45 tonight, excitedly came to a tomb in the back mountain. He took out a bunch of props, such as incense, talismans, soul-calling banners, paper money, roosters, white rice. Everything. After making all the preparations, Xuanqing took a deep breath and dug up the grave. In the grave, there was a very well-preserved corpse, with red lips and white teeth and delicate skin, looking no different from a living person. Xuanqing arranged a series of things including talisman paper, incense, and white rice, and then carefully let out the soul of his wife from the soul-calling banner. His wife died at the hands of the natives a few months ago. This was a pain that Xuanqing would never forget in his life. Fortunately, he summoned his wife's soul in time and put it into the soul-summoning flag, avoiding the possibility of her disappearing into thin air. What made Xuanqing sad was that this soul had no thoughts, no emotions, and could not speak. It just had the appearance of his wife. But he did not give up. As long as there is a soul, there is a possibility of resurrection. Tonight, Xuanqing broke through level 45, and his strength increased greatly. He immediately came to the grave to try to see if he could let his wife's soul return to her body. Unfortunately, he failed. Still not working? Xuanqing murmured in a somewhat depressed tone. He had been working hard for the past few months, just for this moment. But he still failed. The dead cannot be resurrected. This sentence kept echoing in his ears. The dead? Is it really impossible to be resurrected? If I can break through level 46, level 47, or even the legendary level 49, is there a hope to revive her? Xuanqing regained his spirits. A temporary failure is nothing. He will not keep trying until he succeeds. Xuanqing collected the mess around the cemetery, then covered the transparent crystal coffin again and buried the grave. He talked with his wife for more than half an hour, and then walked towards his residence. The sky was already slightly bright, and a new day was about to begin. I will continue to work hard, wife. After walking a long way, Xuanqing looked back at the grave. In a trance, he saw a beautiful girl in a white dress, who raised her right hand slightly into a fist, and cheered him up. Xuanqing was startled. And when he looked carefully, there was only a lonely tombstone. Is it an illusion? Xuanqing laughed dumbly. He didn't expect that he would have an illusion, because of excessive longing even though he was already level 45. Beep. Beep. At this time, his tactical watch rang, indicating that someone wanted to add him as a friend. This name. Xuanqing looked at the familiar name, and thought for a while, this seems to be a chosen one from Nancheng. Why did he add me? Xuanqing didn't understand why, but he still agreed to the other party's friend request. The other party sent a message, "Excuse me. I'd like to ask, is your wife resurrected?" Xuanqing frowned slightly. This question was indeed a bit presumptuous. However, considering that the other party was the chosen one of Nancheng, he still answered truthfully, "No. My strength is not enough to revive the dead." The other party quickly said, "I'm really sorry. Please accept my condolences." Xuanqing turned off the panel, not wanting to say anything more. Beep beep, beep beep. But the other party continued to send messages. Xuanqing opened it, and took a look. His face became slightly solemn. "I also have people I want to revive. I am trying to use the unique method of this world to revive them, but without exception, all failed. If possible, I want to talk to you. Your Taoism, combined with my method, may produce some effects where 1 plus 1 is greater than 2. Xuanqing thought for a while, and replied, "Okay. Let's find a place to meet." Outside the sky, in the boundless starry sky, an eyeball floated over, and was caught by Emperor Zun, and pressed into his eye socket. His body was badly broken, and he was constantly using magic to repair it. Opposite him, Suyana was not much better. Her hair was disheveled, and her robe soaked in blood was tightly attached to her body, outlining her graceful body. When was the last time I was so embarrassed? Suyana couldn't remember clearly. Even though she was so proud, she had to admit that the emperor was really strong. She was almost defeated. "If I were my real body in this battle, I would definitely win you," the emperor said confidently. "Unfortunately, the little girl exchanged my incarnation with my real body. Did she want to save my life or yours? I can't tell the difference." "Of course. To save your life." Suyana's face was cold. "I haven't used my life to fighting magic weapon since the fight till now." He. The emperor seemed to have seen through everything, and sneered, "Don't you want to use it? No, you don't dare to use it. I have long noticed that. You have a deep resistance to your life-defining magic weapon, and you are afraid of it. And I am not afraid." Chapter 763. Is that a divine corpse? I am afraid of my own divine weapon? Suyana wanted to laugh. "I just don't want to rely on external things," Suyana said lightly. "Afraid? Oh, I am fearless." This short chat has helped Suyana recover a lot. She wants to end this meaningless battle as soon as possible. "After your real body comes back from the divine corpse, we will fight again," Suyana said, and slapped her palm lightly. At their stage, those fancy skills are of little use. What they need to compete is who has more magic power, and who is more skilled in using magic power. A pure collision of magic power. As the incarnation of the emperor, he is naturally no match. He had just repaired less than half of his body, and was once again beaten to pieces by Suyana. "You just said, God's corpse?" The emperor grasped the key point in Suyana's words. "That corpse. Is it the corpse of God?" Suyana shook her head. "Not completely. I can only be considered a demigod." Bang! Another palm. The incarnation of the emperor could no longer maintain its shape, and it completely collapsed. In this battle, the final winner was still Suyana, although she won in a very embarrassing way. Before her eyes, the incarnation of the emperor began to collapse, and the terrifying power in his body instantly returned to the emperor's body. Suyana snorted lightly, and looked beyond the distant starry sky. "You wasted a lot of my time." She wanted to fly directly to the corpse of the god, and kill the emperor's body. But in the past few months, the corpse drifted far away again. With her current strength, it would take her half a year to fly there. Shaking her head, Suyana gave up the idea. He will come back eventually anyway. Suyana looked at the primitive world not far away. All the magic power outside the primitive world has been sucked away by him. If he doesn't come back, he will die in the starry sky. Thinking of this, Suyana no longer cared about the emperor, but hurried to fly to the primitive world. That waste of the Zhao family, You better not die too quickly. Your energy is mine. In the starry sky extremely far away from here, the emperor, who was sitting cross-legged on the corpse of the god, slowly opened his eyes. Puff. He spat out a large mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. The incarnation died in battle, and he also suffered a lot of backlash. Luckily, it was quiet here, and no one was around, so he could rest assured. Is this the corpse of a demigod? The emperor did not care about his injuries, but lowered his head, and said to himself, but on him, I can't sense any power. What's the use of a half-god corpse that has lost its power? A bold idea suddenly popped up in the mind of the emperor. Why not refine him into an external incarnation? The wild waves are an attitude. The wild waves are rising and falling. Nefong hummed a little tune, flying rapidly over the vast ocean. He had been out to sea for more than 100 kilometers, but still hadn't seen any traces of Tang Chungyun and the ancestor of the Zhao family. These two people, the more they fought, the farther they were. If they continue to fight like this, will they go around the primitive world and land on the west side of the Falling Sun Empire? Nanfeng said suspiciously. He had flown to space to see before. The world under his feet was also a sphere, but it was only several times larger than the blue planet. But strangely, the original world had only one landmass, and the rest were scattered islands. The ocean covered more than 90% of the original world. There was only one continent, floating alone on the sea. This made the Falling Sun Empire, the Bright Moon Empire, and the Wadika Empire lack the threat from overseas. But at the same time, it also made them lose the motivation to develop. The situation of the three kingdoms had been maintained for tens of thousands of years. This is a deformed world, Nefong commented silently in his heart. He looked down at the sea and found that the water here was a little black, and he didn't know how deep it was. The waves were surging, and it seemed very uneasy. This meant that the two people fighting should be nearby. A few minutes later, Nefong finally saw Mr. Tang and the ancestor of the Zhao family. They were less than 50 kilometers away from Nefong. Something is wrong. Nanfeng's expression froze. In this endless sea without any obstructions, with Nanfeng eyesight, he could easily see scenes 100 or 80 kilometers away. Moreover, the ancestor of the Zhao family summoned a supergiant water element, standing on the sea like a Godzilla. Nefeng felt that he could see such a huge creature 200 kilometers away. How could he only find them within 50 kilometers? Nefeng observed carefully for a moment, and finally found some abnormalities. There was fog on the sea. The fog was very light, and it was a bit similar to the fog shrouding the ancient forest. The light mist on the sea will interfere with my vision. Nefeng did not continue to fly forward, but summoned the tactical ship and slowly drove over. He placed his hands on the large caliber laser main gun, ready to fire a shot at the Zhao family ancestor. But not now. Both sides of the battle were in good condition, and the battle was at its most intense. If he intervened at this time, Nefeng suspected that he would be killed by the water element giant with one punch. Wait a little longer, wait a little longer. When they are tired, exhausted, injured, Nan will take action to end this battle, and grab some experience by the way. The ancestor of the Zhao family also found Nanfeng watching the battle from a distance, and his mood instantly sank. Nanfeng's appearance here, which means that the Zhao family has lost. If he loses this battle with Tang Chungyun, then the Zhao family will be destroyed. When he thought that the Zhao family might be destroyed in his hands, the ancestor of the Zhao family was a little panicked. How could he face his ancestors? I must win. As long as he was alive, he could continue to create little people, and create a brand new Zhao family. As long as he was there, the Zhao family would be there. With this thought in mind, the ancestor of the Zhao family immediately exerted his full strength and suppressed Tang Chungyun. However, Tang Chungyun's defense was impenetrable. No matter how the ancestor of the Zhao family attacked, he could not break his rusty and simple short knife. This battle lasted until the next night. Just when Nefeng was almost sleepy, the stalemate finally changed. Chapter 764 I am the natural enemy of the Zhao family ancestor. After all, Tang Chungyun broke through a few months earlier than the Zhao family ancestor. His foundation is more stable, and he is more proficient in the use of power. After fighting for a day and a night, Tang Chungyun finally seized the opportunity and hit out two swords with all his strength. The first sword slashed the water element giant. The second sword beheaded the Zhao family ancestor. A head fell straight from the sky. When Nefeng was refreshed and drove the ship to drive over, But he underestimated how strong the vitality of a level 46 warrior was. The seawater condensed into a pair of hands, caught the head of the ancestor of the Zhao family in the air, and flew rapidly into the sky. Seeing this, Tang Chongyun slashed out with a knife again. The big hand condensed from the seawater instantly turned into a trident, blocking the knife. The head of the ancestor of the Zhao family flew back to his neck. Click, click. The ancestor of the Zhao family twisted his neck, making a creaking sound. He spat out a mouthful of blood and sneered, "The water elements here are endless. All of them are the source of my power. You want to kill me? It's not that easy." Tang Chongyun's face was solemn. The ancestor of the Zhao family was originally a water player, and the ocean was his main battlefield. If it was on land, the ancestor of the Zhao family would have been hacked to death by Tang Chongyun several times. But here, let alone killing the ancestor of the Zhao family, even wanting to defeat him, is not an easy task. Moreover, after a day and night of fighting, the ancestor of the Zhao family became more and more familiar with his own strength, and the pressure on Tang Chongyun became greater and greater. If the fight continued, "Grandpa Tang, why not lure him to the land for a fight?" Nan Feng's voice entered Tang Chongyun's ears. Tang Chongyun shook his head slowly. It was not up to him to decide where to fight. Indeed, he could leave the sea now and return to the land, but the ancestor of the Zhao family would not follow him foolishly. The ancestor of the Zhao family would stay on the sea, heal his injuries, and consolidate his foundation. Then wait for 3 to 5 years, 10 years, or even 100 or 200 years. When Tang Chongyun had relaxed his vigilance, he would sneak back to the mainland and slaughter the younger generation of the Tang family. Since the feud has been made, it must be resolved now. What's more, the ancestor of the Zhao family has been injured, while Tang Chongyun is still in good condition. The advantage is mine, Tang Chongyun said secretly, and he attacked again with a knife. The ancestor of the Zhao family showed a cunning smile. The sea began to surge, and the waves rose tens of meters high. The 500-meter-long ship began to shake violently, and Na Feng almost vomited. A 100-meter-tall water element giant appeared on the sea again, and then the second one, and the third one. The ancestor of the Zhao family condensed 3 water element giants at once. This thing is not easy to deal with. Its body is originally made of seawater. Ordinary attacks on it have little effect. The 3 water element giants formed a 3-way sandwich, surrounding Tang Chongyun in the middle. Its fist, which is hundreds of meters long, smashed over with a whistling sound. Boom! A white light column with a diameter of 5 meters penetrated the sky. The white light column has an extremely high temperature. Where it passes, the seawater will instantly vaporize. A large hole appeared in the chest of one of the water element giants. It seemed that it lacked the core strength to maintain its body. The water element giant fell into the sea with a bang, causing huge waves. Na Feng, who had watched the show for a whole day, finally couldn't help but take action. At the same time, Tang Chongyun also chopped down the other 2 water element giants with a few slashes. The face of the Zhao family ancestor sank. Summoning water element giants was very consuming for him, not to mention summoning 3 at a time. But these 3 water element giants didn't even last a minute. They were blown up just after they were summoned. It really made him feel uncomfortable. He looked at Na Feng on the ship and snorted coldly, "If you are eager to die, I will send you to death first." Crash! Next to the ship, a small water element giant condensed and took shape. This small element giant was only more than 20 meters tall. In front of the 500-meter-long ship, it was like a baby. But Na Feng didn't dare to underestimate this little baby. Its little fists were very fierce. Boom! The small water element giant punched the deck, making the ship shake violently. "Lord Na Feng, do you need my help?" Tang Chongyun's voice came. Na Feng shook his head slightly and sent a message back. "Don't worry about me, I can handle this little thing at will." The small water element giant was too close, and the large caliber laser main gun was not working well. But there were other weapons on the ship. 3 Na Feng Express secondary guns, and 10 3,000 heavy water machine guns. These weapons, Na Feng has never used them. Na Feng Express? Try this first. 3 secondary guns roared, and huge shells were fired from the muzzles. Swoosh! 2 of these 3 secondary guns were located on the side of the ship, and the water element giant was located in front of the ship. But the shells they fired seemed to have a tracking function, and after turning in the air, they hit the small element giant with a bang. The high temperature generated by the explosion directly vaporized the water element giant. The effect is outstanding. In the distant sky, the face of the Zhao family ancestor became even gloomier. This kid is a bit restrained by my water element giant. The Zhao family ancestor did not dare to be arrogant, and summoned 3 small water element giants to come and besiege Nanfeng. He himself once again fought with Tang Chongyun. Let's try the 3,000 heavy water machine guns again. Nanfeng mind moved, and the machine guns on the ship began to fire. No, they did not fire, but bubbles. This is a water gun. Duh. The 3,000 heavy water machine guns have a very fast firing rate. They shoot bubbles one by one. When these bubbles hit the water element giant, they will enter it and merge with the sea water. When the bubbles are filled with water, they will become extremely heavy and sink into the depths of the ocean. From a distance, the bodies of these water element giants have turned into small water balls, which keep falling down. 3 water element giants were easily solved by Nanfeng. Oh, is this all the ancestor of the Zhao family is? I feel like I can kill him alone. I am the natural counter to the ancestor of the Zhao family. Seeing that he was so good at restraining the water element giant, Nanfeng suddenly became arrogant and drove the ship to the center of the battlefield. Grandpa Tang, I help you. Chapter 765 S-Class. Epic Arsenal. Boom. Boom. Clatter. Tactical warship, it roared angrily, and its main gun, 3 secondary guns, and 10 machine guns, all fired at full power. And their target is the various water element creatures summoned by the ancestor of the Zhao family. Despicable. Despicable. The ancestor of the Zhao family dodged a knife from Tang Chongyun and cursed. 2 against 1. Tang Chongyun, is this your way? Tang Chongyun said nothing and attacked frantically. Without the help of various water element creatures, the Zhao family ancestor was far from being Tang Chongyun's opponent, and was suppressed and retreated again and again. On the ship, Nanfeng set up a laser cannon and occasionally supported 2 shots. This forced the Zhao family ancestor to pay a little attention and keep an eye on Nanfeng. Despicable chosen one. The Zhao family ancestor gritted his teeth, broke an arm at the cost of breaking off Tang Chongyun's attack range, and flew rapidly to the deeper part of the sea. Tang Chongyun, I will definitely come back, the ancestor of the Zhao family said angrily. I will come to you to settle this account later. Don't do it later. Do it now. Tang Chongyun was chasing after him. Hey, wait for me. Nanfeng cleared the surrounding water element giants, drove the ship at full power, and caught up. But compared with him, the speed of the ship was too slow. Like a big turtle, Nanfeng could only put away the ship and fly over by himself. Huh? That's... As soon as he flew into the sky, Nanfeng saw something on the sea surface. Something was carried by the waves, and was moving forward. After a closer look, wasn't that the hand of the Zhao family ancestor that had just been cut off? You still want to pick it up and put it back together? I blow it up for you. Nanfeng set up the laser cannon, and raised his hand to fire a fiery sunbeam cannon. Sizzle! As if sensing the danger, the seawater around his arm surged spontaneously, forming a layer of water elemental protective shield, resisting the attack of the scorching red light. But this fiery sunbeam cannon, how can it be blocked by mere seawater? The scorching red light continued to evaporate the seawater, and the protective shield became thinner and thinner. A few seconds later, the red light penetrated the seawater and hit the arm of the Zhao family ancestor. The terrifying temperature melted his flesh and blood, but this was the body of a 46th level strongman after all, which was 10,000 times stronger than steel. Even the fiery sunbeam cannon could not penetrate it instantly. The Zhao family ancestor, who was escaping, naturally also noticed this situation. The corners of his mouth rose, and his eyes revealed a fierce look. Die! The broken arm suddenly flew up and grabbed Nanfeng's head. Nanfeng didn't expect that this hand could still move, and the speed was so fast. He retreated hundreds of meters and kept pulling the trigger at the broken arm. But the broken arm was holding up the light blue light column and was still approaching Nanfeng. The bloody arm did not affect his speed. The body of a level 46 strongman was so strong. Damn! I can't hit it. Nanfeng gritted his teeth and took out the S-level divine weapon light ball belonging to Sakura Taro from his backpack. Then upgraded it to S-level. The divine weapon, after all, must be upgraded. Now Nanfeng is ready. Do you want to absorb the S-level divine weapon? Absorb. The broken arm is getting closer and closer. Nanfeng did not hesitate and directly absorbed the S-level light ball. Ding! Your divine weapon has been upgraded to S-level. Weapon name, Epic Arsenal Current Grade, S-Level Type. Backpack materials required for upgrade as the grade of the divine weapon is upgraded. You will unlock more equipment. The following equipment of yours has changed. High-frequency oscillation laser cannon. Matter annihilation cannon. A new concept-level weapon developed by fusing black flash and charge strike, which can release an ever-expanding black hole and swallow everything. Note, one shot kills one kid, the effect is better after charging. The following skills of yours have changed. Charge shot. Increases damage by 10% per second, up to 10,000% damage. Can only be used when equipped with matter annihilation cannon. Cooling time, 5 seconds. Black flash. The upper limit of ammunition storage is increased to 20, which can be used as a spare magazine for matter annihilation cannon. Fiery sunbeam cannon. Can be charged with magic power. Ice beam cannon. Cooling time is greatly reduced. All your equipment get a significant attribute improvement. All your accessories get a significant attribute improvement. A series of system prompts came into Nanfeng's ears. He had no time to listen carefully, because the Zhao family ancestor's broken arm was already on his face. The sharp nails were only 1 millimeter away from Nanfeng's pupils. Green light passed by. There was a knife energy coming from the left and going to the right. The 4 fingers on the broken arm were cut off by the knife energy and fell into the sea. Between heaven and earth, everything was silent. Even the turbulent sea was rarely calm. The broken arm of the ancestor of the Zhao family stopped in front of Nanfeng and could no longer move forward. Nanfeng had seen this knife. When in Haishang City, Xiao Luo chopped Tao Jie Dao hard with one knife, using this knife. Eternity. Kacha. Beside Nanfeng, a short knife cut open the space. Xiao Luo calmly walked out of it and picked up the broken arm of the ancestor of the Zhao family. Swish, the wave surged again, and time began to flow again. But the broken arm that was so aggressive just now seemed to have lost its vitality and fell into the sea and could no longer stir up any waves. S-level. Nanfeng looked at the dagger in Xiao Luo's hand and said, "Didn't I tell you not to upgrade? If you don't upgrade, you're blind now." Nanfeng was speechless. The situation just now was indeed very dangerous. The speed of the broken arm was too fast, and Nanfeng had no time to dodge. If Xiao Luo didn't make a move, the broken arm would have poked Nanfeng's eyeball and then been shot by Nanfeng. Now that you mention it, it doesn't seem that dangerous? Isn't it just blind? Won't it be fine if I go back and ask the little Nani for some milk? Forget it. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's go help Mr. Tang. Nanfeng took out the big and heavy matter annihilation cannon from his backpack and flew forward quickly with the two of them. Xiao Luo glanced at the cannon in Nanfeng's hand. Your life-defining magic weapon has also been upgraded to S level? Yes, isn't it awesome? Nanfeng carried the upgraded cannon with an excited look on his face. Matter annihilation cannon, one shot to kill one kid. Let's try it on the Zhao family patriarch first. Speaking of this, Nanfeng asked, "What will your short sword be called after upgrading?" Xiao Luo replied, "It's called Zhao family patriarch. Take your Nanye's shot." Before Xiao Luo finished speaking, Nanfeng had already seen the embarrassed figure of the Zhao family patriarch. He did not hesitate and directly pulled the trigger. A huge amount of magic power poured into the annihilation cannon, and then a tiny black ball flew out from the muzzle. This tiny black ball has an extremely terrifying attraction. The seawater below was spinning and was sucked into the black ball, looking like a waterspout that reached the sky. The clouds in the sky were also pulled in by the black ball. Even the magic in the air could not escape. The size of the black hole was getting bigger and bigger, and its pulling force was getting stronger and stronger. As the target, the ancestor of the Zhao family felt the suction force even more terrifying. What is this? The ancestor of the Zhao family looked terrified, and tried to fly at full speed to escape from the black hole. But the speed of the black hole was not slow either, and coupled with its incomparable attraction, it soon closed the distance with the ancestor of the Zhao family. Just now, it was the broken arm of the ancestor of the Zhao family that was chasing Nanfeng. Now, it is Nanfeng's black ball that is chasing the ancestor of the Zhao family. I really like what the evil little wizard said. If our roles were reversed, I would let you know what cruelty is. Chapter 766 Kill the Zhao family patriarch. Don't come over here. The Zhao family patriarch screamed. The closer the black ball was to him, the stronger the suction was. Although he didn't know what the consequences of being sucked into the black ball would be, it would definitely be uncomfortable, and the Zhao family patriarch didn't dare to try it. Drink. Seeing the black ball getting closer and closer, The Zhao family patriarch shouted loudly, causing a large amount of seawater to pour back into the black bowl. Fill you up. The Zhao family patriarch shouted. If you're full of seawater, you can't eat me anymore. Almost at the same time, Xiao Luo and Tang Chongyun drew their knives together, and each of them gave the Zhao family ancestor a fierce blow. Tang Chongyun's knife was too rusty and not sharp enough. This hasty blow only cut a deep wound on the Zhao family ancestor's body. Xiao Luo's short knife easily cut the Zhao family ancestor in half. S-level life definition magic weapons are so powerful. Ah! The Zhao family ancestor screamed, and the part below the waist fell into the sea. He didn't dare to stay any longer, and the remaining upper body began to run for his life again. The black ball absorbed a lot of seawater, and its size grew larger and larger, and it seemed to have reached its limit. It exploded with a bang, releasing a huge energy wave. The ancestor of the Zhao family, who was closest to the black ball, was blown away by the energy wave, lost his balance, and fell at a parabola on a small island not far away. Nefeng and the other two were also blown away by the airflow raised by the energy wave, and they couldn't open their eyes, and their clothes fluttered wildly. After a long time, the strong wind passed. The three looked at each other and flew to the island. The only upper body left of the Zhao family ancestor was lying on the beach, with blood spurting out of his mouth from time to time. The explosion of the black ball blew all the tendons and veins in his body to pieces, and even his magic power could not function. He wanted to use magic power to repair his injuries, but he couldn't do it. The Zhao family ancestor stared at the three people fiercely, and shouted with his last strength, "I will not let you go even if I become a ghost." Nafeng sneered, "You are just like this beach." Zhao family patriarch, ? Nafeng, there are no stones. Cough cough. Zhao family patriarch coughed twice, blood spurted out of his mouth, and poured back into his nostrils, choking him a little uncomfortable. "You can't kill me, I can revive." "I'm afraid you can't revive." Nefeng shook his head and said, "In the basement of Wuhai City, there is no bed anymore." No bed. Zhao family patriarch was startled, and the fear of death slowly crept into his heart. "Impossible, how is this possible?" The ancestor of the Zhao family said to himself. "That existence, she will save me." Nefeng said, "Are you talking about the dream god? Although I don't know what happened, she seems to have abandoned your Zhao family." The Zhao family has become Suyana abandoned child. They no longer have the ability to revive infinitely. The Zhao family has been abandoned. The mood of the ancestor of the Zhao family changed from fierceness to fear, and then from fear to numbness. He just lay on his back on the beach, his lips trembling constantly, mumbling something. Tang Chongyun said, "Master Nefeng." Master Xiaonan said that his life belongs to you. "Xiaonan?" Nefeng raised his eyebrows slightly. "Didn't Xiaonan go to the Sea of No Form? How did he know that I would fight with the ancestor of the Zhao family?" "Oh, yes. This is the Sea of No Form. Could it be that Xiaonan is nearby?" "What do you mean?" Nefeng turned his head and looked at Xiao Luo. Xiao Luo made a gesture of invitation. "The knife I just used should give me a lot of experience. You can do the rest." Nefeng nodded, and took out the Desert Eagle from his backpack without hesitation. The matter annihilation cannon made too much noise. With one shot, the island might be swallowed up. This was when Nafeng didn't accumulate power to deal with a dying ancestor of the Zhao family. There was no need for a cannon. A small pistol was enough. Moreover, after upgrading to S level, the attributes of the Desert Eagle have also been greatly improved. This small pistol is not a pushover. Nefeng took 2 steps forward, aimed at the forehead of the Zhao family ancestor, and shot him dead. Ding! You killed Zhao Hai, and gained 47% experience points. As expected, after killing the Zhao family ancestor, Nefeng experience points reached level 45, 99%. And he was stuck here. Xiao Luo behind him also gained a lot of experience points. Strange, Suyana didn't steal experience? Nefeng asked in confusion. She even stole Zhao Yanjue experience. Wouldn't she be tempted by the 46th level Zhao family ancestor? Nefeng stood there and thought for a moment. Calculating the time, Emperor has been in the Wadika Empire for a long time. Did he fight with Suyana? So Suyana didn't have the extra energy to take care of this side? That should be the case. Let's go, the Zhao family ancestor is dead, and we should go back. Nefeng, who had gained a lot of experience, said with a smile. The three of them flew into the sky, flying towards the direction of the mainland. They didn't notice that in a corner on the edge of the beach, someone had built a small castle. Time went back to half a day ago. In the Sea of Nothingness, on an unknown island, Suyana, who had returned from outer space, plunged into the Sea of Nothingness and rushed to Zhao Hai location. She was a little anxious, fearing that if she went too late, the waste would die in the hands of others. In the previous battle with the Emperor in the outer world, the thin magic thread that connected her to thousands of lives was torn off by the Emperor by 99%, including the thread belonging to Zhao Hai. That is to say, if Zhao Hai died now, she would not be able to absorb his power through the thin magic thread. Suyana increased her speed. As long as she was within 50 kilometers of Zhao Hai, her thin magic thread could connect to him. Soon, she arrived at the Sea of No Form, and noticed Zhao Hai and Tang Chengnin fighting each other from hundreds of kilometers away. Zhao Hai's condition is not bad. It's not that easy to die. After Suyana found this situation, she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Just as she was about to get closer, she found a little girl squatting on the beach of the island in front of her, concentrating on building a sand castle. It was Xiaonan. Suyana's face darkened slightly. She ignored Xiaonan and continued to rush to the battlefield. But she suddenly saw from the corner of her eye that Xiaonan took out a bunch of colored stones and stuffed them into her mouth. "You're crazy!" Suyana broke out in a cold sweat. "You will attract him." Xiaonan has been in the primitive world for more than 260,000 years. Every moment, she is stealing the energy of this world bit by bit, storing it in her body. More than 100,000 years ago, the god of creation had already noticed this little thief who stole energy. If Suyana had not dispersed the energy in Xiaonan's body in time, and stored it in various parts of the world, she would have been found by the god of creation. By then, the creator god would have plenty of ways to help Xiaonan break through level 49 and condense her godhood. Finally, he would devour her godhood. So when she saw Xiaonan eating stones, Suyana was really scared. Xiaonan was only one step away from level 49. If she were to return to her peak state now, she would definitely wake up the sleeping creator god. Suyana didn't want to see this, because she wasn't ready to face him yet. Chapter 767 Nanfeng Questioning of the Heart. "What do you want to do?" On the beach, Suyana said with a cold face. After returning to the primitive world, with the replenishment of magic power, her injuries were healing rapidly, and she even changed into a fresh and clean set of clothes. But she was not happy at all, because Xiaonan stopped her. Xiaonan spit out 2 stones, and continued to pile sand sculptures without raising her head. "The kids are fighting. Why did you get involved?" Xiaonan said crisply. "If you take another step forward, I will wake him up." Suyana's face darkened. But she soon regained her composure and guessed Xiaonan's thoughts. "You want to help Nanfeng and compete with me for the only position? It's not me who wants to." "But he does," Xiaonan said. "Since he wants to, then I will help him. After all, I call him brother. You should be able to see that. With his potential, his limit is only level 47. Suyana said calmly. "He is not qualified to compete with me." She said it seriously, not deliberately belittling Nanfeng. How could someone who couldn't even reach level 48 compete with her for the throne that comes once every 129,600 years? In Suyana's opinion, there are only 2 people who are qualified to break through level 48 in this life. One is Long Wudi, and the other is Emperor Zun. And she will choose an opponent from these 2 people, defeat him, and then ascend to the throne. Xiaonan chuckled. "You were like this back then, too. You said that the little caterpillar couldn't even break through level 40. But what happened? It is level 47, and it is still alive today. Suyana, your theory of potential is outdated. People always have thousands of possibilities. The little caterpillar mentioned by Xiaonan is the first overlord of the ancient forest, the old dragon in his twilight years. I won't make a mistake twice," Suyana said calmly. "Even if Nanfeng reaches level 48 with your help, he is definitely not my opponent. People who need external help to break through are not worthy of being my opponent." Suyana's words were a bit hurtful. Xiaonan pouted and slapped the sandcastle hard, making it tighter. "If you want him to live, don't let him break through again," Suyana continued. "When I defeat him, I will lift the curse on all the chosen ones, so that they can have the life they deserve." Xiaonan was silent for a long time, but still shook his head and said, "Suyana, give the energy of the Zhao family ancestor to my brother. The Moon Emperor is about to break through. You go and absorb his energy. Suyana took a deep breath. Since you insist on doing this, then do as you say. I will kill him at level 48, and then ascend to godhood. After that, Suyana turned around and flew away, without any nostalgia. Xiaonan squatted on the beach, silently watching Suyana leave. No matter who wins in the end, I will give you my godhood, Xiaonan said in her heart. She took 2 steps forward, walked on the waves, circumvented Tang Chongyuan and Zhao Hai who were fighting, and walked towards the mainland. After returning from the sea, it was already late at night. The 3 of them were in the sky, looking at the ruined Wuhai city, all in silence. In this battle, no matter who wins or loses, the innocent civilians will suffer the most. Nanfeng lowered his eyes. He saw several huge bomb craters in the city, which were blown up by tactical bombers when the battle just started. In this battle, he killed many people, many innocent people. He knew that. Now there were many natives around the world scolding him, and he could only accept it. If you do something like this, you should bear such infamy. According to the estimation, more than 100,000 civilians should have died. Xiao Luo suddenly said. In this world, this is a common thing. In the Battle of Haishang City, Tao Jie killed tens of thousands with one sword. Tang Chongyun also nodded and said, in a world where the weak are preyed upon by the strong, these weak civilians have no room for resistance. Lord Nanfeng, you have actually done a good job. Of course, Tang Chongyun did not mean that this matter was done well. He was referring to Black Crow City. Under the management of the Chosen Ones, the civilians were already living well enough. It's okay, no need to comfort me, Nanfeng said. I will try my best to solve this mess. Rebuilding Wuhai City, start from now. They landed outside the city and walked towards the ruins. There were still scattered civilians outside the city. Most of them had just escaped from the city and were preparing to move to other cities. There were many corpses on the ground. Many civilians had already run out of the city. But they still couldn't escape this disaster. Suddenly, Nanfeng's eyes fixed. Among the corpses on the ground, he saw a woman holding a little girl. The woman was about 20 years old. Even though she had been dead for a long time, she still held the little girl tightly in her arms, wanting to protect her. Nanfeng had seen this woman, although only once. When Wuhai City opened the city defense formation, Nanfeng dug a hole to enter the city. The exit of the hole happened to be the woman yard. At that time, he kindly reminded her, this hole can lead you out of the city. If you don't want to die, get out quickly. At that time, Nanfeng felt that he had done a good thing and was a little proud of himself. Unfortunately, the woman did not survive, including her 4 or 5-year-old daughter. Nanfeng knew at a glance that the woman was injured by some violent energy fluctuations while she was still in the city. She tried her best to crawl out of the hole, but because of the serious injury, he could not hold on any longer and fell down. Nanfeng thought about it for a while and guessed the cause of the woman's death. When he left the woman's yard, a Zhao family team happened to chase him from behind. Nanfeng threw a grenade at them. Heh. Nanfeng suddenly smiled bitterly and grabbed his hair hard. What did I do? Obviously, there could be a better solution. I work hard to upgrade, become stronger, and improve my strength. Just to make these innocent people die inexplicably because of me? If I put myself in the shoes of these dead people, Nanfeng would feel extremely desperate. I am a very ordinary person, working from sunrise to sunset for 3 meals a day. I have a virtuous wife and lovely children at home. My life is ordinary, but also full of warmth. But suddenly one day, a devil came from outside the city and started to fight without saying anything. When gods fight, mortals suffer. Seeing my wife, children, and neighbors die in front of me, and then I have no chance of escaping this hell on earth, I feel extremely desperate. Why? Can the strong deprive the weak of their lives at will? Suddenly, a faint voice rang out from deep in Nanfeng's heart. Why do you want to break through? Nanfeng's mouth twitched slightly, revealing a smile that was uglier than crying. The question of conscience. The question of conscience that did not come when I broke through level 45 is here now. And Nanfeng feels that he will never be able to pass this level in his life. Chapter 768 Sins must be redeemed bit by bit. The first day of the 7th month of the Dragon Calendar. More than a month has passed since the capture of Wuhai City. During this period, the Yin family mobilized the power of the entire family to fully assist Wuhai City. It took 2 or 3 days. All the people buried in the ruins were dug out. Then it was time to resettle the victims and rebuild the city. The Yin family hired a large number of manpower from nearby cities at a high price, trying to complete the reconstruction work as quickly as possible. Many people in the Hallyu Empire are curious and don't understand why the Yin family wants to do such a thankless task. Only Yin Shuangying knows that the Yin family is not doing a thankless task, but making a fortune. Because Nanfeng promised that all the products of Nancheng from now on will be wholesaled to the Yin family at the lowest price. And Nancheng will never enter the market of the Hallyu Empire. In other words, the Yin family has become the first-level distributor of Nancheng, and the only distributor in the Hallyu Empire. From tonight onwards, if people in the Hallyu Empire want to buy products from Nancheng, they can only buy them from the Yin family. You know, Nancheng's existing specialties, such as bananas, instant noodles, hot and sour noodles, short-sleeve shirts, long pants, sneakers, etc., are enough to cause people to rush to buy them. Not to mention that Nanfeng has promised that Nancheng will produce better things in the future. With these products, the entire sinking market is basically under control. No one can resist a pair of jeans that cost 29 copper coins. They are comfortable and wear-resistant, and are 200 times better than their current pants. Not to mention the instant noodles that smell delicious after being rinsed with boiling water. However, the food called snail rice noodle smells a bit stinky, and it is estimated that the sales volume is not very good. Yin Shuangying stood in front of the bronze mirror, looking at his new look. A pure cotton short-sleeve shirt with strange Chinese characters printed on the chest. A pair of ripped jeans. A pair of sneakers with a hook on the side. And a pair of sunglasses. Hey, don't say it. Don't say it. It is indeed a bit handsome. I feel like I'm in high spirits. The clothes produced in Nancheng are really good. Yin Shuangying raised his lips. Obviously, he was very satisfied with his look. The most important thing is, the clothes and pants are really convenient to wear. You can put them on in 2 swishes. The clothes used to have to be tied in a knot to be fixed, which was really troublesome. Okay, I'm going to inspect the work. Yin Shuangying pushed open the door and walked out. He came to High Mall a month ago, and basically supervised the workers' work every day. There was no other way. If you want to become a distributor of Nancheng, you must complete the conditions proposed by Nanfeng, rebuild Wuhai City as quickly as possible, and resettle the civilians here. For the huge profits, Yin Shuangying had to personally take part in the work and be a contractor. Hello. Master. Master, are you here to inspect the work again? Along the way, workers kept greeting Yin Shuangying. Yin Shuangying was not arrogant. He paid a lot of money, and the food was good, so the workers liked him very much. Well, work hard. When this road is repaired, I will give everyone extra food, Yin Shuangying said loudly. Extra food? Master Yin, can you give each of the brothers a pack of instant noodles? It tastes great, a worker boldly suggested. Hearing this, everyone looked at Yin Shuangying in unison, their eyes full of expectation. Damn it. 1 pack per person? Do you want to make me broke? Do you know how expensive instant noodles are? Yin Shuangying laughed and scolded. How about this? If you can finish this section of road before dark, I will give you extra credit. Oh, that's great. Long live the head of the Yin family. Brothers, work hard. For a while, the road workers rolled up their sleeves and started working, as if they had endless energy. Seeing this, Yin Shuangying nodded with satisfaction. For these people who have never eaten anything good, instant noodles are the best food in the world. The sales of this thing will definitely explode. The only thing we need to worry about now is the production in Nancheng enough? However, I heard from that guy named Suzuran that they will make a thing called an assembly line in the future, which can produce as many instant noodles as needed, and ensure that there will be enough. I hope they can make it quickly. Yin Shuangying said in his heart. Master Yin, good morning. Behind Yin Shuangying, a familiar voice came. He turned his head and saw Nanfeng, covered in dust, pushing a cart of construction waste. During this month, Nanfeng participated in the post-disaster reconstruction of Wuhai City. He did not use magic, but worked purely on his own strength like other workers. It seemed that only in this way could he slightly alleviate the sin in his heart. Lord Nanfeng, you got up so early to work? Yin Shuangying was a little surprised. At the beginning, Yin Shuangying thought Nanfeng was just playing around. But he didn't expect Nanfeng to work for more than a month and work very hard. Yin Shuangying asked him why he did this. And Nanfeng just chuckled and said, he is practicing. Oh, I didn't sleep last night. Nanfeng smiled and said, I cleaned up the garbage on the East Square. And this road can be built straight, which will not delay everyone's work. After that, Nanfeng did not chat with Yin Shuangying, but pushed the simple cart to the garbage station. When he passed by Yin Shuangying, he couldn't help asking, Master Yin, who gave you this clothes? Jiao Jiao gave it to me. What's wrong? Yin Shuangying was puzzled. Well, it's not a big problem. Nanfeng looked at the 4 big words, I am shabby, printed on Yin Shuangying's clothes, and wanted to laugh. It's just that this dress doesn't suit you very well. Why don't you change it? After saying that, Nanfeng left without looking back. Looking at Nanfeng back, Yin Shuangying frowned slightly. Is it not suitable? I think this dress is pretty good. Nanfeng dumped a cart of garbage into the recycling station. The recycling station was already full of rotten wood, broken stones, and various broken tables, chairs and benches. A special worker will transport the construction waste out of the city later. It's been a month. The reconstruction work is a bit slow. Nanfeng sighed. He didn't ask the chosen ones of Nancheng to come to help. Because Nancheng, Black Crow City, NC Mall, Magic City, all needed manpower. That's why he contracted the reconstruction of Wuhai City to the Yin family. However, the workers recruited by the Yin family were all at level 10, with poor strength, speed, and physical strength. So the reconstruction speed was naturally slow. Take your time. Eat one bite at a time. Walk one step at a time. And redeem your sins. Redeem one step at a time. Otherwise, how could he get over this mental barrier? At this moment, Nanfeng suddenly understood why Xiao Luo went to Haishang every day after the battle at Haishang City to participate in the reconstruction work in person. He was the same as me now. Chapter 769 World War begins. The 7th day of the 7th lunar month. On Blue Star, this day is the Chinese Valentine's Day, a good day for young lovers to spend time together. But there is no such festival in the primitive world. For them, today is just an ordinary day. No, actually, today is not ordinary. Because today, the Wadika Empire officially intervened in the war between the Falling Sun Empire and the Bright Moon Empire. In fact, in the past few months, the war between the Falling Sun Empire and the Bright Moon Empire has never stopped. A small fight every 3 days, a big fight every 5 days, has become the norm. The location of the battle also extends from the border between the 2 countries to the north, and gradually comes to the vicinity of the Sun and Moon Mountains, which is the border between the 3 countries. The people of the Wadika Empire, who originally just wanted to watch the excitement, were forced to be involved in this war. The war is getting more and more intense, and is gradually developing in the direction of a world war. In the past month, Nanfeng has not paid much attention to current affairs, but he has heard about this war, because the workers around him, in their spare time, were discussing this war. Today, the Wadika Empire officially fell, and the 3 empires began a great chaos era. Even as smart as I am, I can't see through the final outcome of this war. Brother, it's not that I look down on you. You are just a small worker. You can't even count. How smart are you? If you ask me, the final winner must be the Falling Sun Empire. After all, the Emperor is too powerful, and he can suppress the other 2 countries alone. The Emperor is strong. Our Moon Emperor is the first to be dissatisfied. What's the point of being dissatisfied? The Emperor is stronger than the Moon Emperor. I have a friend whose cousin works in the Imperial Palace. He told me yesterday that the Emperor is already level 50. Nonsense. I advise you not to boost others' ambitions and destroy your own prestige. If you think the Falling Sun Empire can win, then go there quickly. Our Moon Emperor is just a low-key person. If a fight really breaks out, he can easily win with just one hand from the Emperor. Okay. Stop discussing, and start working. In the distance, the contractor shouted twice. The workers who were sitting together and chatting finally stood up with a sense of satisfaction and went to work on their own. Nanfeng also stood up and followed the large group to build a main road. Next to him, there was a worker walking side by side with him, named Zhang He. The man who just said that he had a friend whose cousin worked in the Imperial Palace was him. Zhang He was a very outgoing person and could chat with anyone. He approached Nanfeng and asked, Brother, my name is Zhang He. What's yours? Lu Shibu. Nanfeng answered. Lu Shibu? What a good name. Zhang He raised his thumb and gave a heartfelt compliment. Brother Xiaobu, who do you think will be the final winner of this world war? Nanfeng looked at him and said uncertainly, the Falling Sun Empire? Great minds think alike. Seeing that Nanfeng shared the same opinion as him, Zhang He was immediately happy. He put his arm around Nanfeng's shoulders and chattered. You still understand me. The others are just ignorant common people. They have no idea how powerful the Emperor is. He is level 50. The most powerful man in the world. Nanfeng corrected him. Actually, the Emperor is only level 46. Nonsense. Do you understand the Emperor, or do I understand the Emperor? When Zhang He heard Nanfeng's words, his face suddenly darkened. My friend's cousin works in the Imperial Palace. This is what my friend told me personally. How could he lie to me? Theoretically, I should understand the Emperor better than you. Nanfeng did not dwell on this issue too much, but asked, what does your friend's cousin do in the Imperial Palace? Zhang He, dung carrier. What's wrong? Nanfeng. Damn. A dung carrier is also considered a job. Right? A shit scooper is also an official. Right? Hey. What's that look? Zhang He said unhappily. Don't underestimate the dung carrier. He goes to the homes of high-ranking officials to carry dung every day. And he has heard more secrets than you have eaten salt. Nanfeng didn't want to say more to him. He moved a flat stone slab from the side and started paving the road. While paving the road, he also opened the panel and checked the information in the chat channel. In the recent chat channel, the most talked about topic is also about the Three Kingdoms War. Miles Solomon, it's annoying. I found a good settlement in the Wadika Empire last week, and they fought there today. Archie, I'm near the Sun and Moon Mountains now. The armies of the Three Kingdoms are fighting fiercely. Just like Shirliji. Shirji, huh? I think I saw someone calling me. Suzerain, according to incomplete statistics, the number of deaths per day in the past few days is between 5,000 and 10,000. The river water in the Sun and Moon Mountains has been dyed red. Andre, they don't deal with the corpses. And sooner or later there will be a plague. Lin Mimi, why do they keep fighting? Our envoys told me that the Emperor never issued an order to go to war. Nanfeng, haven't those envoys left yet? Lin Mimi, soon. They have recorded a lot of theoretical knowledge during this period. And they said they would study it carefully after returning. We have taught them everything we can. And they will not learn anything new if they continue to stay in the capital. So they should leave soon. Longwoody and his men only taught some basic things, such as how to build roads faster and more efficiently, and how to build houses more stable and solid. But they could not easily pass on those core technologies. After all, that was the experience accumulated by the Dragon Kingdom for hundreds and thousands of years. Nanfeng did not expect that the envoys really did not do anything, but came purely to learn. But it was good this way, which could avoid a lot of trouble. As soon as this idea came into Nanfeng's mind, bad news came from the chat channel. Feiying, the chosen ones of Dragon City outside the capital, transmit here quickly. Nanfeng frowned slightly, asked at Feiying what happened. Feiying, in the envoy team, the group of civil servants are all dead, and the rest are looking for the Dragon Army chief to ask for an explanation. I think there will be a fight, so hurry up and get some people. Nanfeng, all the civil servants are dead? How did they die? Feiying, I don't know, they died without saying anything, and didn't even leave a last word. Alas, it's my fault. I saw that they were very well behaved in the past month, so I removed a lot of secret guards. And this happened. Nanfeng pondered for a while. These envoys, I really can't help but praise them. I just said that they would not do anything weird. But they did it. I'm really impressed. Are you looking for an excuse to attack the capital? It doesn't seem like the Emperor's style. I go over and take a look. If a fight breaks out, I can also lend a hand. Nanfeng turned off the panel, found an empty corner, and was about to teleport away, when he heard a lot of noisy sounds coming from outside the city. There were screams, there were cries, and the roars of ferocious beasts. Are there ferocious beasts hurting people? Nanfeng put away the teleportation array, and in a flash, he arrived outside the city. Chapter 770 The Murderer is in the inn. Outside Wuhai City, there are more than 30 workers, running towards the city in panic. A few hundred meters behind them, there is a big lizard with a broken leg, chasing the workers angrily. Help! Zhang He shouted in fear while running wildly. He ran at the back of the crowd, becoming the first target of the big lizard. This is too unlucky. Zhang He thought to himself. After starting work, he chose the easiest job, transporting construction waste out of the city. He originally thought that after transporting a truckload of garbage, he would hide in the grove outside the city to catch fish and take a nap. Unexpectedly, as soon as he left the city, he encountered a ferocious beast, and it was an injured and violent beast. Actually, it was nothing. As soon as he found the ferocious beast, he ran away. He should have run in the front. But the supervisor of their garbage cleaning team deliberately stretched out his foot and moved to He, causing him to fall behind the crowd in an instant. From a big advantage to a big disadvantage. Manager, I make a password. If the big lizard hadn't lost a leg, he might have been killed by it long ago. But now, he is not far from death, because the big lizard with a missing leg runs faster than him. Help! Help! He yelled at the top of his lungs. He didn't want to die yet. His friend told him that he would take him to the Falling Sun Empire after a while, to help his cousin. Although he didn't like the job of carrying manure, he still agreed. After all, it was the imperial capital. With his intelligence, he would rise to prominence after arriving in the imperial capital. Maybe he could even be appreciated by the emperor and become the prime minister of the empire. Second only to the emperor. He was a little excited just thinking about it. I want to be the prime minister in the future. How can I die here? With this thought, He potential exploded, and he ran at the fastest speed in his life. I'm about to catch up with the guy in front. He face was filled with joy. But at this moment, a soft but resilient tongue wrapped around He ankle. He fell to the ground with a plop, dizzy. It's over, he'd been caught. He face was ashen. It was just a little bit away, damn it. Hiss. The lizard stretched out its smelly tongue, licked He face, and licked his face full of saliva. Then, it showed its sharp teeth. Click. Nanfeng reached out and pressed the lizard's upper jaw, closing its mouth. The lizard stared at Nanfeng with its big eyes, and stood there in a daze. Lu Xiaobu? He looked at Nanfeng in shock. This man actually fought a lizard with his bare hands? Why don't you run away? Nanfeng asked. Oh, right. He didn't care about Nanfeng, and he rolled and crawled towards the city. Hiss. The lizard stuck out its tongue, trying to wrap around Nanfeng's neck. Nanfeng flicked his finger, shooting out a sharp air force, cutting off its tongue. Hiss. The lizard rolled on the ground in pain, and its severed tongue also rolled on the ground. Your leg. Nanfeng held down the lizard with his hand, not letting it move. He looked at the wound on the lizard's hind leg, and frowned slightly. The incision was very smooth. It should have been cut off by someone. But why did that person only cut off one leg of the lizard, but not kill it? Letting such a violent beast run around near Wuhai City, how dangerous it is. Crack. Nanfeng applied a little force, and broke the lizard's spine. The lizard twitched a few times on the ground and stopped moving. Go back and ask the head of the Yin family to send more people to clean up the nearby beasts. Nanfeng muttered a few words. He strode back into the city, and found He arguing with another worker. Everyone, come and see. This is our supervisor. He deliberately tripped me to escape. How shameless. He had a loud voice, and attracted all the workers around in a few minutes. The supervisor would not admit such a thing. And he also shouted, don't slander me. It was obviously you who fell down accidentally. What does it have to do with me? The two quarreled fiercely. A Yin family manager came over after hearing the noise. And after understanding the whole story, he said calmly, okay, you garbage cleaning supervisor. You are fired. Get out of here. Then, he glanced at everyone present and asked, who wants to be a supervisor? Salary increased by 20%. Mainly responsible for managing other workers. He raised his hand, and was about to recommend himself, but he suddenly saw Nanfeng in his peripheral vision. Thinking of the life-saving grace just now, he suddenly changed his words. I recommend Lu Xiaobu, he is the one that everyone expects. Nanfeng. 10 minutes later. After declining the position of garbage cleaning supervisor, Nanfeng found a deserted place, and teleported to the capital. The atmosphere in the capital was a bit tense, and as soon as Nanfeng teleported here, he felt the solemn atmosphere. You're here? Xiao Luo asked. Nanfeng nodded, yeah. I encountered something just now, which delayed me for some time. Xiao Luo was on the roof of an inn. Below was the backyard of the inn, where Long Wudi was negotiating with the envoy. This rooftop was a super VIP seat for watching the fun. You are quite good at finding a place. Nanfeng chuckled. Xiao Luo nodded, and made a gesture of silence. indicating that Nan Feng should listen to the conversation below. In the envoy team, An Kong, with gray hair on his temples, was full of anger. Lord Long, our people died in your territory. And you still say it has nothing to do with you? People, they did die in my territory. But their death has nothing to do with me. Long Woody replied calmly. Give me 3 days. 3 days. And I promise to find the real murderer. Behind An Kong, another envoy Qian Yu said sarcastically, haha. What if you can't find the real murderer? Long Woody said in a deep voice, if the real murderer cannot be found, I will pay for their lives. Good. You have guts. An Kong raised his thumb and nodded vigorously. Since Lord Long has said so, I will give you 3 days. When the time comes, Lord Long, please don't cheat. Long Woody put his hands behind his back and chuckled. Our conversation was broadcast live. How could I? Long Woody. Cheat? Qian Yu snorted coldly. I don't think you dare to cheat. Otherwise, hee, you should be prepared to face the wrath of the Emperor. Nan Feng had just arrived when the two sides ended their conversation. The remaining envoys all returned to their rooms, preparing to wait 3 days before looking for trouble with Long Woody. Long Woody left the inn and flew back to the city lord mansion. Is the talk over? I thought we were going to fight. Nan Feng scratched his head and looked at Xiao Luo. Do you think Long Woody can find the murderer within 3 days? Xiao Luo replied, the murderer is in the inn. No need to look for him. Chapter 771 3 days later. I will say I am level 46. Hearing Xiao Luo words, Nan Feng was not surprised, because he guessed from the beginning that those dead envoys were killed by their own people. But what I don't understand is why Long Woody said that the murderer should be found within 3 days. Xiao Luo's tone was a little puzzled. They killed the people themselves. They will definitely not admit it. Does Long Woody want to find a few scapegoats? Who knows? Nan Feng shrugged. Anyway, the worst result is a fight. I'm already level 46. As long as the Emperor doesn't come, I can kill anyone here. Xiao Luo nodded and said, that's true. These envoys can't cause any trouble. Let's go to the city lord mansion to see if anyone needs help. After the two of them said that, their figures flashed, and they flew to the city lord mansion. In the room below the inn, An Kong, Qian Yu, Wu Ling and others all looked solemn. That voice just now, it seems to be Nan Feng? Qian Yu's face was full of doubt. He said he has reached level 46? How is this possible? Wu Ling played with the bracelet, snorted, he must know that we can hear it, and deliberately scared us. Not necessarily. An Kong said in a deep voice. The battle in Wuhai City some time ago ended with the destruction of the Zhao family. I heard that the ancestor of the Zhao family had broken through to level 46 at the last moment. But he still died. This means that among the chosen ones, there is a high possibility that a level 46 strongman has appeared. If they really have a level 46 warrior, then aren't we courting death by playing these little tricks? Qian Yu wanted to retreat. Even if there is no level 46 warrior, they must have 3 level 45 warriors. We don't seem to have a chance of winning. The envoys who came to the capital this time had many warriors above level 40, but only one at level 45. And Qian, you didn't know who that level 45 warrior was, and how strong he was among his peers. Oh, this is not important anymore. Even if that person is extremely powerful, it is impossible for him to kill 3 level 45 warriors. Long Woody, Nan Feng, and Xiao Luo. By himself. Right? It is a losing game no matter how you look at it. I know there is no chance of winning, An Kong said with a sullen face. Otherwise, why do you think I gave Long Woody 3 days? Speaking of this, he suddenly lowered his voice and said in a very low voice, I am stalling for time. Among all the envoys, only An Kong knew who the level 45 warrior in the team was. He was the former Emperor, Emperor Wuxing. An old monster with blurry eyes. Not far from death. Half a month ago, when An Kong was delivering dinner to Di Wuxing, he entered Di Wuxing room. He found Di Wuxing lying stiffly on the ground, barely breathing, just like a dead person. Such a dying guy actually wanted to kill Long Woody before he died and take back the capital. Sometimes An Kong really wanted to complain, buddy. Where do you get your confidence from? In the past month, those civil servants have recorded a lot of theoretical knowledge and learned everything they should learn. Those recorded books had been secretly transported back to the imperial palace, and someone was studying them. The civil officials were no longer useful. and they were killed by Di Wuxing that night. Moreover, he wanted to use these dead civil officials as an excuse to attack the capital. But the funny thing was that after killing those civil officials, Di Wuxing took a few deep breaths and fainted from exhaustion. Ankang looked sad, but he was secretly happy in his heart. "It's good that you fainted." Lao Ding. "It's better not to get up. Then we don't have to fight." So when Long Wudi proposed to find the real murderer within 3 days, Ankang immediately agreed. Now he could only pray silently in his heart that Di Wuxing would die within 3 days, or that Long Wudi would fall to his death while walking within 3 days. Anyway, as long as they didn't fight, everything would be fine. He was just a level 44 rookie, and he didn't want to fight in this capital city full of level 45s. Ne Feng and Xiao Luo strode into the city master's office hall in Beijing, and found Long Wudi's office on the 3rd floor. "Brother Feng, Brother Xiao, are you here?" Long Wudi was watering the potted plants on the windowsill, and he didn't look panicked at all. "Yes, I wanted to come and help." Ne Feng found a chair and sat down, and said, "But you look like you don't need much help." Long Wudi chuckled, "You two are thoughtful, but I can solve this small problem by myself." Ne Feng asked curiously, "How do you plan to solve it?" Long Wudi, "After 3 days, I will say that I have reached level 46 and scare them off." TSK Ne Feng waved his hand disdainfully. "I used this trick just now, and they were not afraid at all." In fact, Ne Feng did not reach level 46 at all. Just like more than a month ago, his level was still stuck at level 45, 99%, without any progress. He had not yet broken through the barrier in his heart. Just now on the roof, he said that he had reached level 46 just to scare the envoys and make them retreat. But the envoys were not scared. They saw through this trick at a glance. Long Wudi smiled confidently. "I'm not trying to scare them. I'm serious." Ne Feng and Xiao Luo looked at each other. A trace of shock flashed in their eyes. "Are you really going to break through? So fast?" Xiao Luo was a little unconvinced. In this month, he went to the ancient forest every day to find level 45 beasts to kill. Even so, he was still more than 20% away from level 46. And what about Long Wudi? Let alone this month, in the past few months, he has hardly left the capital. He hasn't killed any fierce beasts. How can he break through? God, please judge. Ne Feng guessed the reason, and pondered, is it because of the invincible breathing method? After the battle with Sakura Taro, Ne Feng would practice the invincible breathing method every day. He could feel the magic power flowing in his body, constantly cleansing his tendons, flesh, bones, this feeling, and the warm current he got after killing fierce beasts. Long-term use of the invincible breathing method can really level up. Xiao Luo wondered. I also spend 1 or 2 hours every day practicing the invincible breathing method. But I can't gain much experience. It's much slower than hunting beasts. 1 or 2 hours is not enough. Long Wudi chuckled. Every moment, every breath of Long Wudi was absorbing the magic power in the air. He was different from Ne Feng. Ne Feng took a big mouthful of magic power in one breath and ate it gluttonously. Long Wudi, on the other hand, was taking it slow and steady, continuously absorbing magic power and tempering his body. It was reflected on the panel, that is. Every minute and every second, his experience points were rising. Seeing Xiao Luo was a little depressed, Ne Feng comforted him. It's okay, you have passed the test of conscience, as long as the experience points are full. You can level up. Long Wudi has not passed the test of conscience yet, maybe he will be stuck here like me. Long Wudi tilted his mouth, showing a confident smile. The test of conscience? Hee. Ne Feng was anxious. No, what are you laughing at? This level in my heart, I am really sad, okay? Chapter 772 Strange Cut. In order to prevent the envoys from launching a surprise attack and catching the capital off guard, Ne Feng decided not to return to Wuhai City first. He would stay in the capital for 3 days. After leaving the city lord mansion, Ne Feng and Xiao Luo came to the Nancheng embassy in the capital. This is a 5-story small Western-style building specially built by Long Wudi, for the chosen ones of Nancheng to work and live. When Fei Ying was calling people in the chat channel, many chosen ones of Nancheng also came to support Longcheng. Su Zuran, Huang Yuanming, Wu Yuanxing and others were all there. As soon as Ne Feng walked into the embassy's service hall, he saw Shen Pan, Su Ming and others playing mahjong. Su Ming had 7 or 8 turtles painted on his face, and he looked like he had lost miserably. Everyone is here. Ne Feng looked around the hall and said with a smile, It's been a long time since our friends in the Handsome Guys group have gathered together like this. Except for the two girls Suihan and Yuran. Everyone else. Oh. Yunfei was not there either. Where's Yunfei? Why didn't he come? Nanfeng asked. He seems to have gone to level up. Shenpan answered casually, then reached out and touched a card. Fuck, Big Four, win! The other three people at the table looked at each other. Fuck you, what's your luck today? Su Ming was a little depressed. Win 9 out of 10, and every time it was a big card. Wu Yuancheng also said, fortunately. I didn't play with you for money, otherwise I would have lost everything. Wang Yuanming stared at Shenpan viciously, pushed the card. Come again. I still don't believe it. I can't draw a turtle on your face today. Shenpan laughed. Don't worry. Don't worry, I draw a turtle on you first. Swish. Shenpan picked up the brush, and his hand was so fast that only the afterimage was left. In 1 second, he added another little turtle on the faces of the three people. Ha ha, great. Shenpan laughed. Come on, continue. Nanfeng smiled and shook his head, walked to Shenpan's side, and grabbed his arm. A trace of panic flashed across Shenpan's face. And he hurriedly said, Nanshin. What are you doing? Nanfeng did not speak, but shook his long sleeves. A lot of mahjong fell out of his sleeves. Shenpan changed the cards very quickly. And no one else saw it. Only Nanfeng and Xiao Luo could see it clearly. You are cheating. Su Ming stood up in a flash, flipped the mahjong table, and shouted, Brothers, hit him. The other two were not ambiguous either, and they immediately jumped on Shenpan. No. 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 I was wrong. I was wrong. Shenpan begged for mercy loudly. You are such a beast. You cheated in playing mahjong with your brothers. What's so great about speed? I crush you to death. Come on. Wang Yuanming. You lift your left foot. I lift my right foot. And carry him to the pillar over there. Aruba. Soon. The three of them carried Shenpan and gave his bird a super critical hit. Oh. Others cheered loudly, and the atmosphere inside and outside the embassy was full of joy. A man is a young man until he dies. Su Ming and the other two severely taught Shenpan a lesson, and drew a pig's head on his face with a brush, and then let him go. Nanfeng also laughed, as if he had returned to school days. It was great to have a life without intrigue, without fighting, without separation of life and death. It's not easy for everyone to get together. Why don't we go out for a walk together? Suzerain suggested. I don't think the envoys dare to do anything, so we don't need to be too nervous. This suggestion was unanimously approved by everyone. Suzerain called Suihan and Yuran. And of course, he also called Yu Piaoling. In response, Nanfeng said he, in order to go shopping with the girl he likes. He called everyone. This outdated method. I didn't use it when I was in school. Hearing that they were going shopping, the three beauties were also very happy. Where's Yunfei? Nanfeng asked again. Xiao Luo replied, I sent him a message. He said he was upgrading and would not come. Is that so? Nanfeng was silent for a moment. Nodded slightly. Maybe he still hasn't gotten over that incident? It's good to leave him alone. More than a month ago, Sakura Taro attacked Mukong City, and Yunfei was the only one who survived the team stationed there. This incident was a big blow to Yunfei. He might be thinking, if he were stronger, more powerful, would the ending be different? To some extent, Nanfeng and Yunfei were in the same predicament, but their performances were somewhat different. Yunfei showed everything on his face. He changed from a talkative person to a taciturn person. Nanfeng hid everything in his heart. On the surface, he was still the same as before. Joking, careless, and unserious. But deep in his heart, those experiences had turned into countless thorns, blocking his way forward. Everyone left the Nansheng embassy in Beijing and walked leisurely to the largest market in Beijing. There were many small stalls and vendors here, selling all kinds of goods. There were specialties from Blue Star, delicacies from the primitive world, various high-end materials, and the skins, meat, bones, and inner elixirs of some fierce beasts. Long Woody specially approved a large area, intending to build it into the world's largest trading market. Look, that ant is making clay dolls. Wow, it looks just like you. I want one too. I want one too. I want one too. The three girls chatted with each other, ran to the stall of pure handmade clay figurines, 99 copper coins each, waiting for the ant to make a clay figurine for them. The man was not interested in this. and continued to stroll forward to see if he could find a bargain and some good things. Only Suzerain was left there, accompanying the three girls, and even called it waiting for his sister. TSK, low level. Come on. Come on, the best beast meat is on sale. A small stall owner shouted loudly. Handsome guys, would you like some beast meat? It's good for sexual enhancement. Shenpan sneered. Massive enhancement? Are you kidding me? Su Ming rolled up his sleeves, showing his biceps, proudly said, Look at my big muscles. Do you think you need it? There seems to be a foot massage shop over there. Nan Feng whispered. Xiao Luo, would you like to go? Why, you want to buy beast meat for sexual enhancement? Nan Feng turned his head, and saw Xiao Luo still staring at the beast meat. Xiao Luo shook his head and said, No. I just think it's a little strange. Nan Feng, what's strange? Xiao Luo, there is an extremely smooth cut on the beast's body. But the boss is only level 12. Can his knife skills be so good? After hearing the extremely smooth cut, Nan Feng was startled and walked to the stall in 2 or 3 steps. He leaned down and carefully observed the wound on the beast's body. This is a level 27 hard bony pig. The knife cut off the front hoof of the hard bony pig. The cut was smooth and flat. The same knife wound. Before, it was a lizard with its hind legs cut off, and now there is a pig with its front hoof cut off. One is in Wuhai City, and the other is in the capital. Between the two, is there any connection? Chapter 773 Late at Night, The Sleepless Man. Nanshan, do you want to buy this meat that can strengthen your virility? Seeing Nan Feng looking at it so seriously, Shenpan said, This boss is just bragging. It's just a pig. How can it have such a function? Nan Feng ignored him, but looked up and asked, Boss, where did you get this pig? The boss said with a smile, Hey, I was going to go hunting outside the city this morning, but not far from the city, I saw this dead pig, so I dragged it back. It just died. The meat is fresh. If you want it, I will sell it to you at a lower price. Nan Feng took out a handful of copper coins and threw them to him. Without even looking up, he said, The extra money is a tip. After that, Nan Feng took the pig's head and walked away. Very cool. The boss counted. His face darkened, and he shouted, Sir, this little money is not enough. Sir, give the pig back to me. Nan Feng. Nan Feng went back and added a few hundred copper coins. Thank you. Sir, you are so generous. The boss smiled happily. After thinking for a while, he came over and whispered, By the way, sir, there seems to be a dead beast where I picked up this pig. My level is low, and I dare not go any further. If you are confident, you can go and have a look. The location is... Nan Feng nodded, and gave him another 200 copper coins. Thank you, boss. Then, Nan Feng took the pig and left quickly. Nan Shen, why did you buy this pig? Well, what else can I do? It must be... Can this pig really enhance male sexual function? How about I buy two? Nan Feng ignored the chattering crowd, but came to a remote corner and put the dead pig on the ground. Xiao Luo, come and help me. Nan Feng called Xiao Luo. You are also a knife player, such a smooth cut. What kind of person can do it? Xiao Luo pondered for a while. Any master over level 30 can do it. Ah? Nan Feng was stunned. He thought that the person who could make such a smooth cut must be a strong man above level 40. Xiao Luo explained, the level of this beast is too low. Only level 27. That's true. But Nan Feng felt that this matter was not that simple. He told everyone what happened in Wuhai City. Su Ming touched his chin and thought, You mean? There is such a pervert. He cut off the hind legs of a lizard in Wuhai City, and then came to Beijing to cut off the front hoof of a pig? Wu Yuansheng also noticed something unusual. Wuhai City is 108,000 miles away from the capital. The only ones who can come here so quickly are the chosen ones. Right? Wang Yuanming was shocked. You mean? That pervert is the chosen one from our South City? Shenpan waved his hand. It could also be from Longcheng. In Wuhai City, Longcheng and South City both have chosen ones guarding there. Who are the knife players in our South City? There are quite a few. Luo Gu is one of them. What? You said Luo Gu was the pervert? There's no need to call him a pervert. Right? He just killed 2 beasts, not people. Have you never killed beasts before? Everyone discussed it for a while, but nothing came out, so it was left unresolved. After all, it wasn't a big deal. It was just killing a beast. Who among those present hadn't killed beasts before? This group of people wandered around the market for an afternoon, and each of them bought a lot of things to take back. There were food, drinks, and all kinds of novelty gadgets. Nafong also bought a lot of them. Small ornaments, toys, etc. When he has time, he will go back to Nanchung and decorate his own house. At night, everyone gathered in the embassy to eat hot pot. Xiao On ran. Cheng Yamo, Lin Tianqi and others also came to eat and drink. And there were laughter and joy in the embassy. Just as Su Zuran said, the envoys stayed in the inn very quietly, without making any noise. It can be seen that they did not want to fight, but they had to give an explanation to the dead civil servants for the sake of face. Late at night, Su Ming and his friends played mahjong again. But this time, Shen Pan was not allowed to play. And Shen Pan was so angry that he shouted that he was bullied. Nefong also played 2 rounds at the table. And then 2 turtles were harvested on his handsome face. No more playing. Nefong stood up and stretched, saying, I'm a little sleepy. Go back to sleep. Who will take my place? Shen Pan, I. Su Ming, get lost. Nefong came to the dormitory on the 3rd floor. There was a room reserved here, which was specially prepared for Nefong. It was well decorated, clean and tidy. Brother Long is thoughtful. Nefong said in his heart. I will ask Su Zuran to build an embassy in the Magic City later, and it should be more magnificent than this. What an inexplicable competitive spirit. Opening the window, Nefong stood by the window, looking at the scene outside the window. Even in the middle of the night, the capital is full of life. Huang family Bath Center people are coming and going outside. It can be seen that Huang Yuanming is doing well. There is a night market near the Bath Center, which has food stalls, late-night barbecues, bars. The capital now looks more and more like a blue star. Nefong thinks that this quiet and harmonious life without killing is very good. He just quietly watched the outside world. As he watched, suddenly, a huge crack appeared in the sky, and a huge hand covering the sky, and the sun fell from the sky. Nefong was shocked, and he pulled out the matter annihilation cannon. But when he looked up at the sky again, the sky was calm. Where was the crack? Where was the big hand? This? Nefong frowned. He found that he didn't have the matter annihilation cannon in his hand. Was that a dream? Nefong was stunned. He just stood here and fell asleep inexplicably? He didn't know that just now there was an invisible and intangible magic thread that quietly connected the Baihui acupoint in the center of his head. He didn't know that all the chosen ones in Dragon City had a magic thread on their heads. As the Lord of Dragon City, Long Wudi had 49 magic threads on his head. These magic threads reached the clouds. It was as if there was a big hand above the clouds, controlling the puppets in the city through these thousands of threads. Can you dream while standing? Is Sayana nearby? Nanfeng murmured. She fought with Emperor Zun. And she won? Is she coming to kill me and Long Wudi now? Nanfeng observed the situation in the city nervously. Until the sky turned slightly white, he did not find anything unusual. Sayana did not seem to be here. Have I been nervous for too long? He had not slept for more than a month. Although for Nanfeng now, it would be no problem even if he did not sleep for 100 years. But if he did not sleep, his nervous spirit, he could not completely relax. But when he slept, he could not sleep. What a tangled human being. Forget it. Let's go out of town for a walk. Nanfeng flew out of the window. He was going to check out the place that the vendor told him yesterday. Chapter 770 for the Heart Questioning Pass. It's about the heart. Go out of the west gate of the capital and walk forward for about 10 kilometers, and you will reach the place the stall owner mentioned. After all, the stall owner is just a level 12 rookie, and he doesn't dare to go too far to hunt. There are ferocious beasts in this area, but the level of the ferocious beast is not high, basically around level 10 to level 20. Those above this level are cleared out by the chosen ones of Dragon City. The low-level ferocious beasts left behind provide a means of livelihood for the hunters in the city. If the kill is too complete, hunters will have to go to farther places to hunt, and the danger will increase sharply, which is not conducive to the development of the capital. Next to a big tree, there are 3 small trees connected. Nanfeng walked on the muddy road and repeated the words of the stall owner in a low voice. The owner said that the hard-boned pig was picked up next to the 3 small trees connected. But wherever Nanfeng looked, there were trees everywhere. Where could he find a big tree and 3 small trees? In this grove, using trees as road signs, the boss is really stupid. Nan Feng complained in his heart. Forget it, just walk around, maybe I find it. Nan Feng wandered around in the grove. The morning dewdrops slid down from the leaves and dripped on Nan Feng's shoulders with a fresh smell. This grove, which has not been developed by humans, has good air. Nan Feng took a deep breath and then slowly exhaled. It smells like blood. It was unknown how far the bloody smell came from. Nan Feng could only smell a faint smell. He continued to walk forward, and the bloody smell in the air became more pungent. After a while, Nan Feng saw a big tree and 3 small trees next to it. Around these 4 trees was a large open space. There really is. Nan Feng was speechless and walked forward quickly and found a lot of dried blood in the soil under the tree. This should be the blood of the hard-boned pig. I didn't find anything unusual. Nan Feng groaned. It was just a beast that died here, which was quite normal. But deep in Nan Feng's heart, he still felt something was wrong. He continued to move forward, and soon found the second dead beast. It was also a bone pig, but this bone pig, what was cut off was a hind leg. Continuing forward, Nan Feng also found a headless, tailless, bodiless. What are you doing? Nan Feng thought of a scene in Young Justice Bao. The general idea was that the murderer killed 6 people, cut off their left hands, right hands, left feet, right feet, bodies, and heads, and then formed a new corpse. These headless bone pigs were a bit similar to this plot. Is someone doing some kind of evil magic? Nan Feng slowly flew up to the sky, overlooking the entire grove. There was no one in the woods. The guy who killed a group of bone pigs should have left long ago. Really, pigs are so cute, why kill them? Nan Feng turned around twice, and after finding nothing new, he returned to the capital. Early in the morning, Su Ming and others started playing mahjong again. They are really bad players, and have a strong addiction. Nan Feng walked around the city twice out of boredom, and saw that there was still no movement from the envoy, so he teleported back to the south city in the fog. He returned to the hut and put away the small ornaments he bought yesterday. The originally empty hut seemed to have a breath of life suddenly. Brother? Why are you back? Xiao Nan's voice came from the room. Nan Feng had given her the authority, so Xiao Nan could enter and leave the room freely. I have nothing to do today, so I came back to take a look. Nan Feng replied. Xiao Nan returned to Nancheng more than a month ago, and has been staying in Nancheng ever since. She didn't have much to do. Every day she went to school, drank milk tea, after school, drank milk tea, ate, drank milk tea, slept, very regular. Really like a primary school student. There was a rustling sound in the room. Xiao Nan put on his clothes, and came out jumping. Brother, I heard that you. Xiao Nan suddenly paused, then jumped up and touched the top of Nan Feng's head. Look, am I jumping high? Shenjin. Nan Feng was a little puzzled. Jumping up and touching my head is considered jumping high? I clearly saw you jump over 2 hills last time. Don't you have to go to school today? Nan Feng asked. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, it's still early. Xiao Nan glanced at the time, smiled. I can still go buy a cup of milk tea. Nan Feng glanced at Xiao Nan's belly. You have a milk tea belly sooner or later. Let's go, I take you to school. The two walked on the streets of South City and bought 2 soy milk, fried dough sticks and steamed buns at a roadside breakfast shop. There are many ordinary people in South City. Nan Feng didn't plan to let them get out of the fog so early, because the outside world is too dangerous. He didn't want the tragedy that happened to that woman to happen to these ordinary people on Blue Star. I heard from Mr. Tang that you went to the Sea of No Form before? Nan Feng asked casually. Did you get your precious stone back? Yes. I got it back. Xiao Nan stuffed 2 steamed buns in his mouth and answered inarticulately. I met a big guy overseas. After you break through level 46, I will take you there to kill it. As he said that, Xiao Nan counted on his fingers. Well, if we take over the 9-layered demon tower and release the ancient ice crystal giant, and let you kill it, you should be able to reach level 47. Right? Nan Feng. I didn't expect that Xiao Nan had already paved his future path. Even the beasts to be killed were clearly arranged. But the problem is, Nan Feng smiled bitterly. I don't know if I can break through level 46 in this lifetime. Why break through? He had no idea about the answer to this question. To protect the weak? For world peace? To prevent people around you from being bullied? He tried all these answers, but none of them were right. During this period, Nan Feng fell into deep confusion, and did not even know the meaning of cultivation. Xiao Nan saw Nan Feng's confusion and said crisply, Do the answers in your heart really represent your true thoughts? The answers can be false. But the heart cannot. The heart test is about your heart. Chapter 775. What is the biggest difference between humans and gods? Na Fong didn't quite understand what Xiaonan said. It all sounded like empty talk. Na Fong ate the last steamed bun in one gulp, and said with some melancholy, "Sometimes I think, am I too hypocritical? Isn't it just killing some innocent people? Who among the strong people in this world doesn't have some innocent blood on their hands? They can all be indifferent, but I can't do it. Those fragile humans are no different from ants on the roadside. In a sense, I already belong to a higher level of life. Why should I care about their life or death?" Xiaonan took a sip of soy milk, then threw it into the trash can next to her with disdain, preparing to secretly buy a cup of milk tea later. After listening to what Na Fong said, she said, "Brother, do you know what the biggest difference between humans and gods is?" "What is it?" "It's human nature." Xiaonan said, "Gods have no humanity. When Mount Tai collapses in front of them, he remains calm. When the primitive world is destroyed, he remains indifferent. You still have a long way to go before you can become a god. Your humanity has not been wiped out. You will feel sad because of external factors. And you will feel sad because of the death of innocent people. This is reasonable. Because you have humanity. Is that so?" Na Fong pondered what Xiaonan said. "So God is actually an inhuman thing? TSK, you inhuman thing. What a dirty curse. Then, as Xiaonan who is only one step away from God, does he still have humanity?" Na Fong turned his head silently, and looked at Xiaonan. Xiaonan guessed what Na Fong was thinking, and chuckled. "Why do you think I go to school here? It's to keep my human heart." As he said that, Xiaonan's eyes suddenly lit up, jumped to the front, and grabbed the collar of a primary school student. "Zixuan." Xiaonan raised her head and said, "Did you bully Zixuan yesterday? Let's go and apologize to her immediately." The elementary school student named Zixuan cried, "Big sister. I didn't. It was Zixuan who suddenly elbowed me. And I subconsciously caught her, and she fell to the ground. It has nothing to do with me. Xiaonan, I don't care about you. What's wrong with a little girl elbowing you twice? How can you fight back?" Zixuan almost cried out, but she wanted to elbow my bird. "Besides, I didn't fight back. I just blocked it." Looking at this scene, Na Fong laughed. It seems that Xiaonan has completely integrated into the life of Nancheng. She is like a native of Nancheng. No, she is a native of Nancheng. She was born in Nancheng. Another day passed. There was still no movement from the envoy. In the embassy, Na Fong stood behind Shenpan, supervising him playing mahjong. "Hoo-la. Ha ha." Shenpan laughed. "How is it? Are you convinced? Quick, quick, bring your faces closer. I'm going to draw a little turtle." Su Ming's face was livid, and he looked at Na Fong with a questioning look. "Nan Shen, did he cheat?" Na Fong shook his head. "Really not. I was watching." Wang Yuanming's brows were wrinkled into a river shape. "Damn. You can win 9 out of 10 without cheating? Are you a gambling saint?" Shenpan laughed. "What can I do if I'm lucky?" Na Fong nodded silently. Shenpan's luck tonight was indeed ridiculous, and he could get the cards he wanted at random. He patted Shenpan on the shoulder and said, "With your luck tonight, you could have picked up 5 million. But you used this 5 million to get a chance to draw turtles on their faces." Shenpan's smile froze on his face. Chapter 776. You come together. If a demon is knocking on your door, what would you do? Xianyu chose to jump out of the window and escape. He did not dare to hesitate. He suddenly opened the window and jumped out. "The world is so big, I want to see it." Looking at the vast night sky, Xianyu's nervous face showed a hint of joy. "Fortunately, I escaped." Di whooshing through the halberd with force. The halberd broke through the door, through the window, and fixed Xianyu in the air. Blood flowed along the lines carved on the halberd. Xianyu's vitality was rapidly fading. Xianyu just quietly floated in the air. Unable to land. Unable to fly away. He could only watch death coming. "My body can't stand the next battle. I lend it to you," Di Wuxing said softly, and walked slowly into the room. As soon as he walked in, the door of the next room, Tianzi number 3, exploded. Bang! Wu Ling rushed out of the room and jumped onto the roof opposite. Di Wuxing turned around, extended his skinny old hand indifferently, and clenched the air. Crack! Wu Ling's petite body seemed to be pressed by a hydraulic press, and her bones creaked under the heavy load. She was about to be crushed. "Help! Help! Murder!" Wu Ling used the last breath in her chest to make the loudest sound in her life. The residents who were sleeping nearby woke up from their dreams and climbed up. Who dares to kill people in the capital? At night in the capital, there are patrol teams everywhere. Who is so brave? Look, there is a patrol team coming. Wu Ling's shout had a great effect, calling the patrol teams hundreds of meters away. But Wu Ling didn't feel happy at all. These patrol members of more than 30 levels, what's the use of coming? They can't save themselves at all. Stop! The leader of the patrol team found Wu Ling hanging in the air, and immediately shouted, signaling the team members behind him to stop. After observing for 2 seconds, he said seriously, everyone, retreat. The patrol team evacuated the place at a faster speed than when they came. Wu Ling, although you can't save me even if you come. You can't not come. Right? Are you really going to watch me die without helping? Are all the city defense forces in your capital so afraid of death? Crack. Crack. The strange sound coming from her body reminded Wu Ling that several of her bones had been broken. If this continues, she will really be crushed. Open the mountain. The cold blade light cut through the void, cutting off the invisible hand holding Wu Ling. Wu Ling's body lightened, and she fell from the air. Puff. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Wu Ling struggled to get up and fled far away. There will definitely be a great battle that will overturn the world. At this moment, there is only a glimmer of hope to escape from Longcheng. When passing an intersection, a figure suddenly appeared, blocking Wu Ling's way forward. Wu Ling was shocked, and subconsciously tried to go around him. As a result, his leg bone, which was about to break, broke completely. Not only did he fall flat on his face, but he also slid on the ground for 7 or 8 meters. Shen Pan scratched his head innocently, and said, Beauty, I didn't touch you. You fell by yourself. Tell me, why are you running so fast at night? Speeding is not a good habit, and there are equipment all over the ground. Shen Pan squatted down, and when he was about to pick up the small embroidered shoe, he suddenly saw a purse. A bulging purse. It seems to have burst out from this beauty? Tui. Wu Ling spat out the sand in his mouth, got up and continued to run out of the city. Shen Pan raised his embroidered shoes and shouted, Beauty, your shoes. Wu Ling didn't even turn his head. It's your shoes. Shen Pan was silent for a while after hearing this, then threw the embroidered shoes aside. Then, he picked up the purse on the ground, turned into a shadow, and rushed to the embassy. Ha ha ha, I really found money. God of the South is not lying to me. Hurry back and show off. In the Longjiu Inn, Di Wuxing looked at the black-robed man standing on the roof of the opposite building, and shook his head helplessly. That girl is lucky. He walked slowly into room number 2, came to Qianyu, and pulled out the long halberd that was stuck in his body. To be precise, this is a broken halberd, because it is only half a meter long. When the young Di Wuxing was traveling around the empire, he saw this broken halberd in an auction house, and he fell in love with it at first sight. Many people could not imagine that Di Wuxing, as a prince at that time, would contract a damaged divine weapon. Even Di Wuxing's father strongly opposed it. But Di Wuxing still resolutely contracted this broken halberd, because he could feel that in this world, there would not be any other divine weapon that was more suitable for him than this broken halberd. This broken halberd had accompanied Di Wuxing in many battles, killing countless people and full of evil spirit. If this broken halberd had intelligence, when it was broken, it might have felt that there was no hope for the halberd's life. Right? But it met Emperor Wuxing. The appearance of Emperor Wuxing allowed it to live a wonderful second life with its broken body. Now, the old Emperor Wuxing wants to take it to fight against the powerful enemy again. Perhaps this is their last battle. Perhaps they will lose this battle. But none of this matters. Being able to fight side by side with Emperor Wuxing again is enough. The broken halberd trembled slightly. Emperor Wuxing could feel the joy and excitement of the broken halberd. This final battle, for the glory of the falling Sun Empire. Emperor Wuxing whispered softly. He walked out of room number 2, and walked in the air. He was greeted by Nanfeng, Xiao Luo, and the Lord of Dragon City, Long Wudi, 3 level 45 warriors. Emperor Wuxing's face was solemn. Facing such a powerful opponent, even if he was at his peak, there was no chance of winning. Fortunately, he had been mentally prepared. From the beginning to the end, he never thought he could win. He is self-destructing. I have investigated all the 45th level masters of the Falling Sun Empire, and none of them can match you. Long Wudi clasped his hands together and chuckled. I wonder if you are. Di Wuxing replied very calmly. I am Di Wuxian. Ne Feng and the other two looked at each other, and all shook their heads slowly. Never heard of it. Among the three, only Long Wudi had seriously studied the history of the Falling Sun Empire. But he only knew the history of the last 100 years, and he really didn't know Di Wuxian, who should have died hundreds of years ago. This Emperor Wuxian. Hearing him call himself the Eye Master, he should be the emperor of a certain generation. Right? You are still young, and have never heard of my name. I don't blame you. But from today on, you will remember my name firmly. I am the Emperor Wuxian. He held the half-broken halberd, slowly raised his hand, and pointed at the three people. You come together. Chapter 777. The Emperor is about to die. What a domineering old man. Nan Feng was a little frightened. From Di Wuxian's tone, Nan Feng could tell that he was not being polite. He really wanted to fight three alone. So cool. Fighting three chosen ones alone, and they were the best among the chosen ones. How dare he do that? Nan Feng had no idea that. What Di Wuxian was thinking was, if the three of you come together, I can kill three of you by myself. In the last battle of his life, he could even achieve a perfect 1-4-3 record. Who wouldn't say that this is awesome? Maybe it can even be recorded in the ancient book. Thinking of this, Di Wuxian's mouth corners slightly raised, revealing a smile. In the eyes of Nan Feng and the other two, this was a manifestation of his incomparable confidence. Nan Feng thought to himself, could it be that Di Wuxian is also like the current emperor? A rare genius that is hard to come by in 1,000 years? Could it be that every emperor is such a monster? That would be too scary. They are all invincible at the same level, killing people above their level. How can the other two countries withstand it? Long Wudi pondered for a moment, and slowly said, this is the capital's business. Brother Feng, Brother Xiao, please don't interfere. Let me do it. Nan Feng and Xiao Luo looked at each other, nodded, and retreated. They could hear that Long Wudi was very confident that he could defeat Di Wuxian, and he didn't need their help. Moreover, the three of them joined forces to beat up an old man who was almost as thin as a man, which was a bit bullying. Wouldn't the emperor come to fight them to the death? Seeing that Nan Feng and Xiao Luo had no intention of attacking, Di Wuxian was slightly disappointed. Fortunately, his main target of this trip was Long Wudi. It would be enough to blow Long Wudi to death and perish with him. Unfortunately, this probably won't be recorded in the Book of Ancients. How about a battle in the sky? Long Wudi pointed to the sky. There were civilians everywhere in the city. The consequences of fighting here would be the same as in Wuhai City. This was not what Long Wudi wanted to see. Di Wuxian grinned slightly. I'm old. I can't fly anymore. Let's fight here. Long Wudi said slowly. You came here. Didn't you just want to take back the city? If we turn it into a ruin, is there any need for you to take it back? Di Wuxian was silent for a while, and nodded. Before coming to the capital, he wanted to explode directly in the city. Even if he turned the capital into a ruin, it didn't matter. But after seeing all aspects of the capital during this period, he changed his mind. He wanted to take back the city completely, and would never allow anyone to destroy it. Then let's fight in the sky. The two of them soared into the sky like rockets. After flying to an altitude of tens of thousands of meters, Di Wuxian took the lead in launching an attack. He stretched out his hand and held it from a distance towards Long Wudi. Long Wudi's body tensed, as if he was grabbed by an invisible big hand. That's it? Long Wudi frowned slightly. He felt that Di Wuxian's power was a little weak. Ha! With a light shout, Long Wudi easily broke free from the invisible hand and flew quickly towards Di Wuxian. Come on! Di Wuxian laughed loudly. His old bones made a creaking sound, and rushed towards Long Wudi. The broken halberd trembled slightly, and stabbed out quickly. Long Wudi dodged easily, and punched Di Wuxian in the abdomen. Puff! Di Wuxian spat out a mouthful of dark brown old blood. Long Wudi retracted his fist, stepped back more than 10 meters, and said, You are too weak. He was a little puzzled. This old man was obviously at the end of his life. Whether it was speed strength or physical strength, he was far inferior to Long Wudi. Why did he still come to fight here? There was no way he could win. Weak. That's because you haven't met me when I was young. Di Wuxian shook his neck, smiled calmly. If I were a few hundred years younger. Long Wudi shook his head. You can't be my opponent. This is not boasting. This is confidence. Di Wuxian was stunned. The boy in front of him, that arrogant and confident look, really looks like him when he was young. Maybe, Di Wuxian said. It is an honor for the alien race to have a genius like you. Fortunately, our Falling Sun Empire also has a genius like you. Di Wuxing said no more, and began to attack continuously. He completely gave up defense, and launched the fiercest attack. But in Long Wudi's eyes, these attacks were full of flaws. Like a drunk old man waving a stick randomly. He didn't even need to use his life-defying magic weapon. He could easily block it. I'm sorry for invading your territory, Long Wudi said, but even if it happens again, I will do the same. My people need space to survive. And my civilization needs to be passed on. How ridiculous. What does this have to do with me? Emperor Wuxing roared as he attacked wildly. I only know that you invaded our territory and massacred our people. As an invader, you deserve to die. Long Wudi said calmly. You are too prejudiced against us. I have never killed innocent people, let alone massacred civilians. Give me a chance, and I will prove to you that we can coexist peacefully with you. No need. Chance? Emperor Wuxing couldn't give Long Wudi a chance, because he was about to die. He couldn't count on what would happen after his death. All he could do now was to die with Long Wudi. At least, without a level 45 chosen one, they wouldn't invade other territories of the empire. Right? Ah! Emperor Wuxing screamed. His condition was getting better and better. He was fighting more and more fiercely, and he even felt like he was back to his peak. But even so, he still couldn't touch Long Wudi. The gap seems a little too big. I've heard that you are the strongest among the chosen ones of this year. You are really amazing, Di Wuxing said with a heavy breath. After fighting for a while, he was already sweating profusely, which was enough to show how weak he was now. You should be able to feel the gap between us, Long Wudi said slowly. Even so, you still want to fight 1 against 3. You don't want to blow us up by yourself. Do you? Di Wuxing's eyes condensed. Oh no, I've been guessed. Then we can't delay any longer. Ha ha ha, you guessed right. Di Wuxing laughed, and pounced on Long Wudi, preparing to close the distance and start the self-destruction. Long Wudi didn't hide, silently waiting for Di Wuxing to rush up, then put 2 fingers of his right hand together, and poked hard at his dantian. Di Wuxing's face was stiff. The hot feeling that had just risen in his dantian suddenly dropped. The self-destruction failed. Long Wudi said calmly, the same trick, you can't use it twice on me. Chapter 778 S Level. Dense Energy. Long Wudi put 2 fingers together, and poked Di Wuxing's dantian. The innate energy flowed into Di Wuxing's abdomen through his fingers, and rushed through his body, causing his internal organs to be damaged. The originally surging magic power was also deflated by this finger, and calmed down. Di Wuxing's face was stiff. He didn't expect that Long Wudi could interrupt his self-destruction. If he had known that he would self-destruct, he would have stayed away from him. Di Wuxing waved his hand fiercely, and the broken halberd in his hand slashed horizontally, and slashed towards Long Wudi's neck. Unfortunately, Long Wudi was protected by his true chi, and Di Wuxing's attack was completely unable to break through his defense. He was still too old. If he were younger and stronger, this blow might have left a barely visible blood mark on Long Wudi's neck. Old man, why don't we just forget it? In the distance, Nanfeng, who had flown to the sky to watch the show at some point, said, You are so old. Why are you fighting with young people like us? Xiao Luo nodded at the side, agreeing. Long Wudi pushed Di Wuxing away and said calmly, We each made what we thought was the right choice in our respective positions. You think you're right, and I think I am right. In fact, there is no need for us to fight to the death. Trust me. I will create a world where everyone can live in harmony. Di Wuxing narrowed his eyes slightly, and did not hear what Long Wudi said at all. He just felt very angry now. I am fighting with you. But what are you doing? Are you preaching to me? Are you looking down on me? Emperor Wuxing was furious. I can die in battle, but I cannot die of old age. Today, if you don't kill me, no one can leave. After that, Emperor Wuxing roared and rushed towards Long Wudi again. The broken halberd in his hand released an unparalleled murderous aura, and it suppressed Long Wudi's innate aura for a short time. Swish! The broken halberd pierced Long Wudi's heart fiercely. But Long Wudi's body was extremely strong, and the extremely sharp halberd head only penetrated less than 2 millimeters. Ah! Emperor Wuxing roared, trying desperately to stab the broken halberd deeper. His skinny arms were shaking constantly, until veins popped, until blood vessels burst. But the broken halberd still couldn't penetrate even a little bit. Is this my limit? Emperor Wuxing was a little absent-minded. So I am so weak now, he said to himself. Long Wudi clenched his fist, An endless innate true energy covered the surface of his iron fist. You want to die in battle. I will grant you that. Long Woody said softly. My strongest punch should be qualified to give you a perfect ending to your wonderful life. This punch, Emperor Wushing. There is only death and no life. There are no fancy moves. Only a punch that is extremely plain. Long Woody hit Emperor Wushing's chest with one punch, and the space collapsed in an instant. And the broken starry sky tore Emperor Wushing's body into pieces. As early as level 30, Long Woody could break the void with one punch and kill the fallen devil. Long Woody, who is now level 45, punched with all his strength. How powerful would he be? The sky was like a piece of fragile glass, shattered by Long Woody's punch. The dark cracks spread all over the glass like spider webs, and continued to spread far away. Crack! 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 A black hole appeared in front of Long Woody, slowly rotating, swallowing everything around it. The earth was also affected by this punch, and it trembled slightly like an earthquake. More than 100 kilometers away, the water in Yingjiang River surged, creating huge waves several meters high. This punch caused the sky to collapse, and the earth to split. Retreat! Nefeng shouted softly, pulling Xiao Luo to retreat quickly. He didn't want to be killed inexplicably by this punch, just because he was watching a show. Then Long Woody would say he was cheating. The strange phenomenon in the night sky did not last long. The primitive world, which contained a lot of magic power, had a very fast self-repair speed. In a moment, the dark black hole became smaller and smaller, until it disappeared. The broken sky gradually returned to its original state, and the trembling earth also calmed down. Long Woody stretched out his hand, and grabbed the ownerless gray light ball in front of him. This was the broken halberd of Emperor Wushing. The broken halberd sank into the sand. But the iron has not been destroyed. Long Woody suddenly thought of this sentence. The owner of the broken halberd left the world again. But this broken halberd is still there. Buzz! The gray light ball made a clanging sound. And the broken halberd inside the light ball kept trembling, as if it was crying. Then, the light ball slammed into Long Woody, but was blocked by Long Woody protective chi. The chi wrapped around the light ball, dissolved it, and devoured it. Long Woody frowned slightly, pondered for a moment, and took out 10 more light balls from his backpack. The innate chi seemed to smell something delicious, and wrapped all the light balls. A few seconds later, a soft beam of light descended from the dark night sky, and Long Woody was at the center of the light beam. Unusual phenomena in the world, Nefeng said. Long Woody innate divine weapon has broken through to S level. Xiao Luo nodded. It seems that the phenomena in the world produced by each innate divine weapon are different. When I broke through, the breeze blew everything, and the spirits were in the sky, shining on the earth. Nefeng scratched his head. What does the spirit in the sky mean? Xiao Luo, the spirits refer to the sun and the moon, which means the sun and the moon are in the sky. Nefeng, then why don't you just say the sun and the moon are in the sky? It will make me look more educated. Xiao Luo's face was calm. Some uneducated husbands will ask me what this means. Nefeng's face was slightly red. I am uneducated? I went to elementary school for 7 years. You said I am uneducated? Do you know how many ways to write return home? When your life-defining magic weapon broke through, what was the strange phenomenon in the world? Xiao Luo asked. I didn't pay much attention to it. Nefeng recalled a little, shook his head. At that time, the hand of the ancestor of the Zhao family was only 0.01 millimeters away from my eyeballs. Who has time to pay attention to those things? As he spoke, the beam of light that descended on Long Woody began to slowly dissipate. Nefeng and the other man looked at each other and flew over together. Congratulations, Brother Long. Your life weapon has reached S level. Nefeng chuckled. After killing Bi Wushing, you should also be stuck at level 45, 99%. And you have encountered the heart-searching barrier, right? As for this heart-searching barrier, I, Nan, have experience. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Long Woody smiled slightly. Thank you for your concern, Brother Feng. I am already level 46. Nefeng, why don't we talk about the innate magic weapon? Nefeng pretended not to hear what Long Woody said. Brother Long, your innate magic weapon looks a bit handsome. What is this aura? Long Woody was surrounded by white aura, like clouds, fog and smoke, as if he was in a landscape painting, giving people a hazy and warm feeling. This is, Long Woody said, the misty aura. Chapter 779, the second level 46 chosen one. Emperor Wushing did not bring too much trouble to the capital. If he had taken action a month earlier, perhaps he could have fought Long Wudi a few more times. But for the future of the Falling Sun Empire, he forcibly held back, and waited until the civil servants had learned what they should learn, and then he dragged his extremely bad body and started this battle. Perhaps in his heart, he had long known that this battle would be lost. But as a generation of Emperor Wushing could not tolerate foreign races invading the territory of the empire. So, he chose to die in battle. Dying on the battlefield is more glorious than dying in a hospital bed. When the space returned to its original state, the three people in the sky also returned to the capital. The small earthquake caused by the punch just now woke up many residents of the capital. After a panic for a while, they saw that there was no danger and continued to sleep. Tonight, there were no civilian casualties. Only a few envoys died, as well as the great Emperor Wushing. It was dawn. Nefeng left the capital and teleported to the South City. Last night, he talked a lot with Xiao Luo and Long Wudi, all about the heart-searching gate. Long Wudi said something that made Nefeng slightly understand. I have not experienced the heart-searching gate, but I have heard the conversation between you and Archie before, and I have a rough understanding of it. I think the answer is not the key lies in your heart. When you have a firm heart and are no longer confused, any difficulties on the road of your heart will not stop you. At that time, any answer is the answer to the heart-searching test. Nefeng somewhat understood the meaning of the heart-searching test. The answers he racked his brains to come up with were just to get through. In fact, his heart has always been confused. The road ahead is full of fog. What he needs to do now is to calm down, see through the fog, and find the right way. The most peaceful place is undoubtedly the South City in the fog. There are no beasts here, no natives to disturb. It is a small world like the peach blossom spring. In the morning, after Nefeng sent Xiaonan to school, he was teleported to Wuhai City to do hard labor. In the evening, his parents had prepared a table of delicious meals, waiting for him and Xiaonan to come home. The days passed peacefully and leisurely for 3 months. During this period, Xiao Luo held Qingyao and chopped from the ancient forest to the Sun and Moon Mountains, and then from the Sun and Moon Mountains to the Agassi Desert. He finally came from behind and became the second chosen one to break through level 46 after Long Wudi. Nefeng was still stuck at level 45, and had not passed the heart-searching test. But his mentality had calmed down a lot, and he seemed to be less eager to break through. To celebrate Xiao Luo's successful breakthrough to level 46, and becoming the top combat force in the first echelon of the original world, the brothers in Nancheng also held a small celebration dinner. Not many people were invited, except for the senior officials of Nancheng and their families, and only a few people from Longcheng came. The dinner was held in the City Lord Mansion in Nancheng. Lin Mimi took Long Wui's arm, and the two of them walked slowly into the City Lord Mansion. Oh! Long Junshu and his sister-in-law are here. In the City Lord Mansion, Huang Yuanming saw Long Wudi at a glance, and hurriedly greeted him. Quick! Quick! Please come in. Oh! Brother Eagle, Brother Wolf, and Brother Dog are here too? Come in. Come in. Behind Long Wudi, Flying Eagle, Crazy Wolf, Black Dog and others also walked into the City Lord Mansion in unison. I heard that you can eat and drink here tonight, so I came here. Fei Ying smiled, and handed over the beautifully wrapped gift box in his hand. This is a small gift for Luo Ge. Huang Yuanming politely refused. Well, it's enough to just come here. Why do you need to bring a gift? Mad Wolf smiled and said, take it. We can't come here to eat and drink for free. Huang Yuanming waved his hands repeatedly. Really? It's not necessary. Send it all. Pigeons. It's too polite to give gifts. Long Wudi kicked Huang Yuanming lightly on the buttocks, and scolded with a smile. It's not for you. Why are you refusing here? Nanfeng's voice came from the City Lord Mansion. That's right. What does it have to do with you? Hurry up and bring all their gifts in. Let me see if they are valuable. If they are not valuable, let them eat while standing. Haigu laughed and said, that's fine, you can eat more while standing. Huang Yuanming could only accept the gift from several people and give them to Nefeng. Nefeng put the gift aside, without opening it. Some things can be said, just as a joke. If you really open the gift box on the spot, it would be so rude. Come in quickly, don't stand at the door, we don't need security here. Nefeng greeted. Long Wudi led a few people into the mansion. There were already quite a few people inside, talking and laughing, and it was quite lively. Captain Long. Hello. Commander. Hello. Sister-in-law. When they saw Long Woody, they all greeted him. Long Woody also responded with a smile. After a round of greetings, Long Woody brought Lin Mimi to Nan Feng's side, and said with a smile, Brother Feng, you are a very busy man. I haven't seen you for several months. What have you been busy with recently? Me? Nan Feng pondered. I send my kids to school in the morning, then go to move bricks, and go fishing after dinner in the evening. Long Woody chuckled. You are so leisurely. So enviable. Nan Feng pouted. I really want you to give up Longcheng and live this kind of life. But you are not happy. As he said that, he looked at Lin Mimi beside him, and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly and said, Sister-in-law, have you gained weight? It seems that the food in Longcheng is good. After not seeing each other for a long time, Lin Mimi has become a lot plumper. Although she was wearing relatively loose clothes tonight, Nan Feng could still see her slightly bulging belly. Could it be that she, like Xiaonan, also had a milk tea belly? Nan Feng thought so, and almost couldn't help laughing out loud. You are the one who got fat. Lin Mimi glared at Nan Feng fiercely. What kind of straight man is this? He actually said in front of a woman that she got fat? No wonder you can't find a girlfriend. Long Woody dotingly squeezed Lin Mimi's hand, chuckled. Indeed, I've given Mimi a lot of supplements recently, and she gained some weight. You're the one who gained weight. Lin Mimi was angry, and secretly twisted Long Woody's waist. The two chatted for a while. Long Woody suddenly thought of something, looked around. Where's Brother Xiao? Tonight is a dinner for him. Why don't I see him? Nan Feng explained. Oh, he said he wanted to let everyone have something good tonight. I went hunting in the ancient forest early in the morning, saying that I wanted to get a level 45 beast to try. The meat of the beast also contains magic power. The higher the level, the more magic power it contains. So eating the meat of the beast can also improve the level. This is especially obvious in ordinary people. Nan Feng parents have reached level 4 by eating the meat of the beast for a long time. They are a little old and have not learned the breathing method yet. It is good to be at level 4. Chapter 780 The Missing Xiao Luo. As the sky gradually darkened, more and more South City chosen ones brought their families to the City Lord Mansion. Nan Feng chatted with Long Woody and the others for more than half an hour, finally feeling something was wrong. Why hasn't Xiao Luo come back yet? It's just hunting a beast, it doesn't take so long. Right? Nan Feng came to the back kitchen, only to see Shenpan hands waving out after images, cutting vegetables. Is Xiao Luo back? Nan Feng asked. No. Hurry him up. Before Shenpan could answer, Su Ming hurriedly said, A good cook cannot cook without rice. Without ingredients, we can't cook tonight. Everyone in the kitchen was waiting for Xiao Luo to return from hunting. But Xiao Luo had been out for a whole day, and there was no news at all. I don't know if he found the level 45 beast. Okay. I go and urge him. Nan Feng nodded. You can use other beast meat to make a few dishes first. Don't let the guests outside wait too long. Shenpan nodded. Okay, I go chop 2 big yellow cattle right away. Nan Feng left the kitchen and returned to the hall, opened the panel, and sent a message to Xiao Luo. 5 minutes passed. Xiao Luo did not reply. 10 minutes passed. Xiao Luo still did not reply. Something happened. Nan Feng's face darkened. Long Woody turned around and asked, What happened? Xiao Luo did not reply to my message. I suspect he is in trouble. Nan Feng stood up and walked outside the City Lord Mansion. I go to the ancient forest to take a look. Long Woody also stood up. I go with you. Nan Feng pondered for a moment and nodded slightly. Xiao Luo's current combat power must be stronger than Nan Feng. It would be useless for Nan Feng to go to a trouble that he couldn't solve. He still had to bring Long Woody with him. Thank you, Brother Long. You're welcome. Let's go. As soon as the two of them arrived at the door, they saw the little nanny Su Yihan preparing to come in. Where are you going? Su Yihan looked puzzled, standing on tiptoe and looking into the mansion. Is the dinner over? I only delayed the class for 10 minutes. Su Yihan has been teaching at the #1 primary school in South City. Xiaonan is a student in her class. Nan Feng looked behind Su Yihan, but did not see Xiaonan's small figure. He asked quickly, Where is Xiaonan? Why didn't she come? Nan Feng clearly remembered that when he went out this morning, he specifically told Xiaonan to come to the City Lord Mansion with Su Yihan for dinner after school. Why is Su Yihan the only one now? Could she have secretly gone out to buy milk tea? Xiaonan? She skipped class in the afternoon and ran away. Sui-Han frowned slightly and replied, She hasn't skipped class for a long time. I thought you had something to ask her. Xiaonan is gone too. Nanfeng's face darkened, and the bad premonition in his heart became stronger. It's Sui-Yana. Nanfeng whispered. What? Long Wudi frowned. Xiao Luo just broke through level 46. And suddenly lost contact. Xiaonan also skipped classes and disappeared. Except for Sui-Yana, I can't think of any other reason. Xiao Luo, who is level 46, is, on the surface, one of the top 5 fighters in the entire primitive world. Even if you count those old monsters hiding in every corner of the world, Xiao Luo combat power can still be ranked in the top 10. There are not many people who can beat him. There are even fewer people who can beat him so much that he doesn't even have time to reply to messages. Nanfeng could only think of Sui-Yana. Only she would attack Xiao Luo. As for her purpose, it was simple. That was to absorb Xiao Luo energy. Xiaonan must have discovered Sui-Yana's little move. So she chose to skip class to stop her. Brother Long, we may have to hurry up. Nanfeng flew up to the sky quickly and flew out of the fog. He could not sense Xiaonan's specific location now. Nor did he know Xiao Luo's location. So he could only search in the huge ancient forest. Bit by bit. Fortunately, he and Long Wudi both have a wide range of perception. And their speed is also frighteningly fast. If the two of them act separately, they can search the center of the ancient forest in half an hour at most. Nanfeng guessed that Xiao Luo was in the center, and it was impossible for him to go to the periphery. Because only in the center can you find a level 45 beast. A few hours ago, just as Nanfeng guessed, Xiao Luo, who was hunting beasts, met Sui-Yana. Is it you? Xiao Luo was startled, knowing that this woman was not easy to mess with. And he quickly slashed with his sword. Then, without even checking whether the sword had hit him, he flew into the mist without looking back. Sui-Yana would naturally not let Xiao Luo leave, and immediately chased after him, fighting with Xiao Luo. In just a few moments, the towering trees in the forest were chopped to pieces. There were gullies hundreds of meters deep on the ground. And even the clouds in the sky were shattered by the sharp sword light. Half an hour later, Xiao Luo felt that Sui-Yana's strength was not as strong as he had imagined. He and she were equally matched. Come again! Xiao Luo shook his dizzy head to make himself more awake, and then continued to rush towards Sui-Yana. Xiao Luo did not realize that he actually fell asleep the moment he saw Sui-Yana. The subsequent battles were all carried out in dreams. Very tenacious. Sui-Yana spoke calmly. In front of her, Xiao Luo stood quietly, his eyes closed, fighting with her in the dream. Dragging the opponent into a dream, this is the fighting style that Sui-Yana is best at. In the previous battle with Emperor Zun and Tianwei, both sides had a deep understanding of dreams, and no one could drag the other into their own dreams. Without the power of dreams, Sui-Yana's strength was much weaker, so she was beaten so badly by Emperor Zun. Xiao Luo didn't understand dreams, so Sui-Yana could easily drag him into a dream. But she underestimated Xiao Luo's will. Even in a dream, Xiao Luo's brain was groggy. Like a rusty machine, he still didn't sink, and still maintained a high fighting state. Sure enough, those who can reach level 46 so quickly are not easy to bully. Sui-Yana thought for a moment. She now has another choice, which is to attack Xiao Luo directly in the real world. But doing so is very risky. When a fatal danger comes, the body will instinctively save itself, which is likely to wake Xiao Luo from his dream. If that attack fails to kill Xiao Luo, it will be very troublesome. Even Sui-Yana, there is no way to let a strong man of the same level as herself enter his dream twice in a short period of time. If they fight in the real world, it will definitely cause a big uproar. If Nanfeng and Long Wudi are attracted, she will not be able to kill Xiao Luo. With this in mind, Sui-Yana decided to take a safer approach and let Xiao Luo die silently in his dream. In this way, no one will find out. Sui-Yana, what are you doing? Xiaonan's voice came from a distance. Chapter 781. I wonder if you can withstand my attack? Sui-Yana, what are you doing? Xiaonan jumped out of the mist and landed between Sui-Yana and Xiao Luo. Sui-Yana looked calm and asked, What am I doing? It's hard to guess. Xiaonan looked back at Xiao Luo and saw that he was just dragged into a dream and was not in danger of life. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. Can't you go and scare others? Xiaonan frowned. You can't kill this person. Rarely. A trace of anger flashed across Suyana's cold face. You can't kill this person. You can't kill that person. Then who can I kill? Otherwise, you go and kill him? I dare not. Xiaonan said very honestly. Suyana wanted to say something sarcastic. But after hearing Xiaonan's sincere answer, she didn't know what to say for a while. The two were silent for a while. Xiaonan said, Do you have to absorb the power of others? It's okay to practice slowly. Suyana shook her head. No. I can't wait that long. Xiaonan, are you afraid? Are you afraid that they will catch up with you? Suyana snorted coldly and didn't answer. I don't care what you think anyway. You can't kill Xiao Luo. Xiaonan put his hands on his hips, raised his head. Otherwise, no one will live. Suyana was a little puzzled. He has nothing to do with you. Why do you care whether he lives or dies? If he dies, my brother will be sad. Xiaonan explained. You can't kill anyone in our South City. Hee hee. Hearing this, Suyana laughed angrily. How long have you known them? How long have you known me? If I hadn't taken action, you would have been devoured by him 100,000 years ago. Now you choose to betray me for a group of chosen ones you have known for less than a year? Xiaonan hesitated for a while, shook his head and said, The person you know is Tang Qiqi. And I am Xiaonan. Suyana held back the rest of her words, and stood there in a daze. Tang Qiqi memory is too old, so old that I can't remember it clearly, so old, it's like the memory of another person. Xiaonan said softly. But my memory as Xiaonan is clear and complete. From birth to now, every minute and every second of memory is deeply in my mind. When a person has multiple memories of different lives, the subject of memory becomes particularly important. Suppose there is such a person, named Xiao Shuai. He grew up on Blue Star, where he has a family that loves him, familiar friends, and a girl that he loves. Suddenly one day, he has an extra memory in his mind, in which he comes from another world, named Shuai, a cultivator, who was killed by thunder when he was crossing the immortal tribulation, and accidentally traveled to Xiao Shuai. So, is he Shuai or Xiao Shuai now? He could be Xiao Shuai who has obtained Shuai memory. Or it could be the big boss, who took over Xiao Shuai body. What is the specific identity? It depends on which memory is clearer, and which memory is the main body. Xiaonan is similar to this situation. But she first had Xiaonan memory, and then slowly recovered Tang Qiqi memory. So she knew very well that she was Xiaonan. Tang Qiqi is already a thing of the past. Suyana lowered her eyes slightly, was silent for a long time, and then slowly said, Then, as Xiaonan, what qualifications do you have to stop me? Suyana walked forward slowly. The terrifying pressure made Xiaonan a little breathless. Get out of the way. Suyana was getting closer and closer to Xiaonan. My resurrection technique is already perfect. After I defeat him, I will resurrect everyone, including this year's chosen ones, including those dead civilians, including all the Red Star people. Xiaonan shook his head vigorously. After resurrection, they are no longer them. No! Why do you say it's not? Suyana shouted angrily, and with a strong palm, slapped Xiaonan away. In the air, Xiaonan took out 5 stones, and put them in his mouth, and swung his hands, and sucked Xiao Luo over. Suyana, don't force me, you are not my opponent now. The temperature suddenly rose. With Xiaonan as the center, the surrounding space began to distort. The flowers, plants and trees turned into charcoal in an instant, and even the soil under his feet was dried and cracked. Suyana said coldly, Why do you use Tang Qiqi power? Aren't you Xiaonan? Xiaonan was stunned. So what makes you say you are not Tang Qiqi? Suyana reached out and grabbed, and went into a dream with Xiaonan. In the dream, it was the primitive world more than 100,000 years ago. That day was the first day Tang Qiqi and Suyana met. You said Tang Qiqi memory is so long ago that you can hardly remember it. Then I will let you experience everything she has experienced again. Suyana waved her hand slightly, and the time in the dream began to pass quickly. 1 year. 2 years. 3 years. Suddenly, Suyana's heart paused, and she felt death coming. She was now in a dream world. This was her dream, and she was the master of this world. Here, nothing could threaten her life. Then, it could only be that there was danger in the real world. Suyana woke up from her dream in an instant, and when she opened her eyes, she saw a fist surrounded by mist, smashing down on her pretty face. A fist as big as a sandbag. Bang! Crack! The space shattered. Suyana felt dizzy, and was punched into the void by Long Woody. Ahem. Suyana coughed twice, and came back to her senses. She quickly scanned the surrounding environment. Are we in outer space? Not bad. Suayana saw the planet in front of her left, and breathed a sigh of relief. That planet was the primitive world, and she only needed a few days to go back. Long Woody Punch shattered the space, forming a temporary wormhole, and sent Suayana here. If Long Woody was stronger, he could have sent Suayana several light years away with one punch. Suayana, who was only level 46 now, would probably need hundreds or thousands of years to return to the original world. Unfortunately, her strength was still a little lacking. Crash. The terrifying magic power flowed into Suayana's body, repairing her injuries quickly. She was about to tear open the space and return to the original world by space jumping. But she saw that the space crack in front of her that was about to heal was blasted open by another punch. Suayana looked ahead indifferently, and saw Long Woody, who was surrounded by fairy spirit, slowly stepping into the void. Even if the space collapses, can't you tear your body apart? Long Woody looked Suayana up and down, and said solemnly, that's difficult. For a moment, I really can't think of any good way to kill you completely. Suayana said coldly, after all, I haven't lived in vain for more than 100,000 years. Brother Long, get out of the way, Nanfeng shouted, and then drilled out of the space crack. He carried the huge matter annihilation cannon, aimed at Suayana and pulled the trigger. A small black ball, with extremely huge attraction slowly flew out of the muzzle. Suayana, I don't know if you can withstand my shot? Chapter 782, Are you trying to help me? It is well known. In space, people only need to fart, and the force of the fart will push you thousands of miles away, and you will never stop. This is because the friction in space is almost zero. Even a little bit of force can produce a huge chain reaction. Not to mention the black hole with terrifying attraction. The moment the black ball left the muzzle, the terrifying gravity began to frantically attract Suayana and Long Woody. Long Woody didn't expect Nanfeng to attack indiscriminately, and was instantly sucked into the black hole. At the critical moment, the mist on his body was like a tentacle, extending rapidly backwards, entangling Nanfeng. As soon as he touched Nanfeng, Long Woody felt that the terrifying gravity disappeared without a trace. This black ball cannot exert gravity on Nanfeng. Brother Long, are you okay? Nanfeng stretched out his hand to grab the mist, and with a force, he pulled Long Woody back. Long Woody shook his head gently. It's okay. I just didn't expect you to kill me too. Nanfeng's mouth twitched. Didn't I tell you to get out of the way just now? Nanfeng didn't expect that in space. Matter annihilation cannon would be so powerful. If it were in the primitive world, the gravity of this black ball would probably not be able to attract Long Woody. Because even the ancestor of the Zhao family can fly for a long time against the gravity of the black ball, let alone Long Woody? Nanfeng's eyes turned to Suayana. In space, the speed of the black ball was faster than in the primitive world. It flew towards Suayana rapidly, and the strong gravity made Suayana's black hair and clothes flutter. Suayana's eyes were slightly solemn, and she used her magic power to try to fly back. But the terrifying gravity was like a chain tied to her body, restricting her movements. She couldn't fly away. In such a crisis, Suayana still remained calm and came up with a plan to deal with it in an instant. She tore the space apart with her bare hands, forming a dark wormhole. The other end of the wormhole was tens of thousands of meters away. Stop! Don't move! Long Woody shouted, gathering the dense energy and punching through the air. Suayana had personally experienced how terrible Long Woody Fist was. If she didn't care and still stepped into the wormhole, she would probably be seriously injured by this punch. But if she took this punch first, the black ball that was getting bigger and bigger would catch up with her. With her mind as fast as lightning, Suayana made a decision in an instant. She would rather be caught up by the black ball than be hit by Long Woody Punch. Mirror of Dreams. Suayana whispered softly. There was a crescent-shaped pendant on her chest, which emitted a faint light. A crystal-like mirror appeared in front of her. Long Woody in the mirror also condensed a misty aura and punched hard. The two fists collided, and the mirror shattered. The illusion in the mirror was naturally no match for the real Long Woody Punch. But Suayana's goal has been achieved. The mirror blocked most of Long Woody's attack, and the remaining power was not enough to threaten Suayana. For her, the biggest threat now is the black ball behind her. This black ball comes from the level 45 Nanfeng. Logically, Suayana should ignore it directly, but she can deeply feel the horror of the black ball. If she is sucked by the black ball, She will lose half her life if she doesn't die. The most terrifying thing is that in order to block Long Woody punch, Suyana stayed in place for 1 second. Now, the black ball was less than 1 meter away from her. Her hair was about to be sucked in. Until now, you are still relying on the power of your life-defining magic weapon. Suyana's tone was very cold. Her voice was transmitted to Nanfeng's ears through a wisp of magic power. Nanfeng replied coldly, "So what? I can kill you. You can't kill me." Suyana stretched out her hand and blocked the advancing black ball with her bare hands. Nanfeng was stunned. Suyana's voice came again, his power. No matter how skilled you are in using it, you will never be able to surpass him. After saying that, before Long Woody threw the second punch, she took a step back and entered the wormhole. The next moment, she appeared tens of thousands of meters away. After looking at Nanfeng and Long Woody coldly, Suyana tore open the space again and left here. Crack! Crack! The black ball continued to move forward and hit the crack torn by Suyana. The surrounding space collapsed instantly and was swallowed by the black ball. This black ball is slowly developing into a small black hole. Crash! In the primitive world, 2 towering trees were uprooted by the gravity of the black hole, mixed with a lot of soul, and swallowed by the black hole. There were more trees, starting to shake violently, and they might be sucked into the black hole at any time. Long Woody glanced at the crack behind him, which he had opened with a punch before. At this time, the crack was healing rapidly. When this crack heals, it will be troublesome for us to go back, Long Woody said. He glanced at Nanfeng. But Nanfeng's eyes were still looking at the direction where Suyana left. Brother Feng, let's go! Long Woody didn't dare to delay, and grabbed Nanfeng and went back through the crack, returning to the original world. The original world contained a huge amount of magic power, which could maintain the stability of space and allow the damaged space to heal quickly. But there was no magic power in outer space. The artificial black hole that Nanfeng had just created might not be able to recover for thousands or tens of thousands of years. Xiaonan had already woken up from his dream. After seeing Nanfeng and the others coming back, he said, "Brother, are you okay?" Nanfeng shook his head silently, looked up at Xiao Luo, and asked, "How is Xiao Luo?" He fine. He be fine after he wakes up." "That's good." Nanfeng nodded, carried Xiao Luo on his shoulders, and flew to Nancheng. Xiaonan tilted his head, a little surprised. "Long Woody? What happened to my brother?" Long Woody pondered. "Just now, Suyana caught his attack with her bare hands. He might be a little unhappy." "Right? Oh, that's it. I thought it was something else." Xiaonan put her hands on her hips. "After all, we are only 1 level apart. There's nothing strange about it." As she spoke, Xiaonan raised her head and looked at Long Woody. She thought for a while, then suddenly jumped up, wanting to touch the top of Long Woody's head. But Long Woody reacted quickly, and quickly pulled away, and asked cautiously, "What are you doing?" "TSK." Xiaonan pouted and snorted, "I'm helping you and you're hiding. Don't come to beg me when the time comes." She kicked her legs and flew into the sky, chasing Nanfeng. Long Woody frowned. "Help me. Just now." When Xiaonan stretched out her hand and wanted to touch his head, Long Woody felt an incomparable sense of danger in his heart. Is he trying to help me? Chapter 783, The 49 Magic Threads. On the way back to South City, Xiao Luo woke up slowly. He felt sore all over, and felt like he was about to fall apart. "Awake? How do you feel?" Nanfeng noticed that Xiao Luo had woken up, and put him down. Xiao Luo stood there for several seconds, before slowly speaking. "Just now, were you dreaming?" "Yes, Suyana dragged you into the dream." Nanfeng nodded. "Fortunately I came in time, otherwise you might die in the dream." Xiao Luo shook his head vigorously to make himself more awake. "What a real dream," Xiao Luo said with some fear. "If I hadn't noticed the bug, I would have kept fighting in my dream until I died." Nanfeng was a little curious. "What bug did you notice?" "This question is very important. If Suyana drags me into a dream in the future, I may be able to wake up from the dream through this bug." Xiao Luo has recovered and said calmly, "I fought with Suyana in my dream for more than 10 days, and plowed the ancient forest. But despite the big commotion, none of the brothers in Nancheng came to find me. I gradually realized that I might be in a dream." Nanfeng asked, "Then how did you wake up?" Suyana was very powerful. Even if people who were dragged into a dream by her realized that they were in a dream, It was difficult for them to wake up. They could only be desperate in the dream, feeling they were sinking little by little, and finally died in the dream. Xiao Luo suddenly chuckled. Nan Feng looked puzzled. Sorry, I feel like laughing when I think of what I did in my dream, Xiao Luo explained. What did you do in your dream? Urinating and defecating everywhere? Nan Feng became even more curious. Hearing Nan Feng's vulgar words, Xiao Luo rolled his eyes and said, While I was fighting with Suoya Na, I kept swinging my sword energy on the ground and painting with it. Painting? Yes, I drew Si Kong Bushua face on the ground, and his pocket watch. After the painting was finished, Si Kong Bushua and I looked at each other, and my spirits tensed up, and then I woke up. Na Feng didn't know what to say for a moment. Si Kong Bushua value is still increasing. Do you know what the first big boss is after the server is launched? In fact, I gained a lot from this battle, Xiao Luo said again. In the real world, there are not many people who can make me fight with all my strength. The battles in the dream for more than 10 days made my sword skills more sophisticated. If there is a chance, I would like to enter your dream a few more times. You still want to enter my dream? Don't count on me to save you next time. Nan Feng was speechless. Come to think of it, every time you take action, I have to save you. Should it be more than a dozen times? Nonsense. How can there be so many? Then let's count. Starting from world number 9. As the two talked, they flew to South City. When they returned to the City Lord Mansion, it was already late. But the brothers in South City were still here, and they didn't have dinner, but silently waited for Nan Feng and the others to come back. I'm back. I'm back. Huang Yuanming, who was standing at the door, saw the 4 streams of light flying back from the horizon and shouted. Everyone in the City Lord Mansion breathed a sigh of relief. Su Zuran shouted to the kitchen, Come on. Su Ming, serve the dishes. The dishes are here. Su Ming had more than a dozen bowls of dishes on his shield, and he brought them up in one go. Swish, swish, swish. A shadow moved back and forth between the tables. This was Shen Pan, who served 2 dishes each time, and could make more than a dozen trips in a few minutes. Shen Pan, don't serve the dishes. Su Zuran hurriedly stopped him. You ran so fast, the dishes are cold when you serve them. What? The dishes are cold? Then we are a little late. Nan Feng's voice came from the door. The 4 of them walked into the City Lord Mansion one after another. Xiao Luo said apologetically, Sorry everyone, I kept you waiting for a long time. Wu Yuansheng smiled and said, It's not a big problem. Just drink 3 cups as punishment. Su Ming heard this, his eyes lit up. Shen Pan, quickly, wash the flower pots at the door and bring them over, pour wine for Brother Luo. The flower pot at the door. Everyone looked at the door. What kind of flower pot is that? That was clearly a wine glass over 1 meter high made by 2 engineering guys during the Chinese New Year. No. It should be called a wine barrel, because it can hold 30 or 40 kilograms of wine at a time. If I drink 3 glasses of wine with this wine glass. Xiao Luo felt his eyes go dark. Ah, if I drink milk tea with this. Xiao Nan became happy. Quick, 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 wash it clean. I want to drink 3 glasses of wine as well. Hearing this, Nan Feng also felt his eyes go dark. Long Woody smiled and said, Take your seats first. Everyone is waiting impatiently. With the return of Nan Feng and others, today's dinner officially began. During this time, Xiao Luo looked up, picked up the big wine glass, and drank 3 glasses in a row, causing applause from the audience. Brother Luo is awesome. Fuck. You drank more than 100 kilograms of wine like this? Level 46 strongmen are really so terrifying. When I reach level 46, I will drink like this too. Nan Feng and Long Woody looked at each other, smiling without saying anything. Before Xiao Luo poured the wine, he bit the space with his teeth, forming a small space crack in his mouth. The more than 100 kilograms of wine were all swallowed by the space crack and are now floating outside the space. He didn't drink a drop. In comparison, Xiaonan was much more honest. He drank milk tea every meal, not wasting a drop. While eating, everyone started playing finger-guessing games, rolling dice, and arm wrestling. The black dog from Longcheng and Su Ming from Nancheng were also there to see whose biceps were bigger and stronger, causing laughter. Burp, I'm full. Xiaonan burped for a long time, showing that she was very satisfied with the dinner tonight. She jumped to Nan Feng. Brother, I want to go out and play. Speaking of this, Xiaonan felt a hostile gaze. She turned her head, and saw that it was Su Yihan, who was staring at her silently. Brother, I'm going home to do my homework. Xiao Nan immediately changed her words. What homework? I'm going to copy others' homework at school tomorrow. Nefeng answered nonchalantly. Then, he also felt a hostile gaze. Ahem. Nefeng sat upright. Doing homework? Okay, go ahead. Children should study hard, so that they can contribute to society when they grow up. Go ahead. Okay, brother. Xiao Nan responded, but in fact, he was thinking about going to play rubber rope with his friends later. As soon as he reached the door, Xiao Nan caught a glimpse of Lin Mimi's slightly bulging belly. Eh? She tilted her head, and was stunned for a long time. Then, she looked at the top of Long Woody Head. There were 49 magic threads on the top of Long Woody Head. These magic threads came from Suoya Na. Except Xiao Nan, no one could see them at this stage. Xiao Nan slowly raised her head, her eyes, following these magic threads all the way up. Her eyes saw through the ceiling, through the clouds, through the void. She saw these magic threads turned a corner and fell again, connected to Lin Mimi abdomen. Xiao Nan instantly understood Suoya Na's thoughts. She felt a little numb. Chapter 784. Will we definitely die? The chosen ones cursed by the god of creation are normally infertile. But there are always exceptions. For example, in Xiao Nan class, there is a classmate who is a test tube baby. At first, Xiao Nan didn't know what a test tube baby was, and asked Suihan out of curiosity. Suihan's answer was also very vague, which roughly meant, through various artificial methods, a new life is born. Suoya Na is doing this now. The fetus in Lin Mei belly is slowly absorbing Long Wudi power. When this fetus is born, it is likely that Long Wudi will die. Even if he is not dead, he will become a useless person who has lost all his power. His intention is sinister. Even Xiao Nan is a little angry. How can Suoya Na do such a thing? Is she really so afraid of Long Wudi? She doesn't even dare to fight Long Wudi openly. Only dare to use such a vicious way to kill Long Wudi? Is this still the Suoya Na she is familiar with? Xiao Nan puffed up her cheeks and walked towards Lin Mimi angrily, wanting to tear off these magic threads. Long Wudi figure flashed and appeared in front of her, and said in a deep voice, "What are you doing?" Just now. At the moment when Xiao Nan raised her hand, Long Wudi felt an inexplicable sense of crisis in his heart again. But this time, he could clearly feel that this crisis was not aimed at him, but at the fetus in Lin Mimi belly. That is, his child. Yes, Lin Mimi is pregnant. She was pregnant 3 months ago. Long Wudi has not announced the good news yet. He plans to wait for a while, when the capital is fully back on track before telling everyone. So in these 3 months, he has been working overtime every day. He wants to take enough time in the next few months to accompany Lin Mimi. If there is enough time, he also wants to hold a grand wedding. What's wrong? Nanfeng looked over. Seeing that Long Wudi and Xiao Nan were somewhat confrontational, he could not help but look puzzled. What was going on? Were they going to fight? If the two of them fought, wouldn't Nancheng be destroyed? Long Wudi protected Lin Mimi behind him, and looked at Xiao Nan with a serious face. What did you want to do just now? Xiao Nan said angrily, "Of course I was going to save you." Save me? Long Wudi looked puzzled. Just now in the ancient forest, Xiao Nan said to help you, but now it has become to save you. What do you mean? Is Long Wudi poisoned and dying slowly? That's impossible. Right? Xiao Nan. What's going on? Nanfeng came over with a serious expression. He believed Xiao Nan. Since Xiao Nan said he was saving Long Wudi, there must be something wrong with Long Wudi. Xiao Nan looked around and saw that everyone was looking at this side. She said helplessly, "Come with me. I have something to tell you." After that, Xiao Nan pouted and walked out of the city lord mansion unhappily. Nanfeng glanced at Long Wudi and said, "Brother Long, don't be nervous. Xiao Nan won't hurt you. Let's go and take a look." Long Wudi nodded silently and followed him. "I go too." Lin Mimi reached out and grabbed the corner of Long Wudi clothes, saying seriously. Xiao Luo put down his chopsticks and said, "I go too." Wang Yuanming stood up from his seat in a flash. Nefeng glared at him. "Sit down." Well, Wang Yuanming sat down with little interest. Alas, there is no excitement to watch. So annoying. Nefeng, Xiao Luo, Long Wudi, Lin Mimi followed Xiao Nan all the way to the outside of the city and climbed up an uninhabited hill. "Let's stop here." Xiao Nan stopped. The remaining 4 also stopped, silently waiting for Xiao Nan to speak. Lin Mimi nervously tugged at the corner of long woody clothes. A woman's sixth sense told her that what Xiaonan was going to say next was likely related to her and the child in her belly. It's okay. Long Woody patted Lin Mimi back gently, soothing her. But in fact, even Long Woody, who was always calm and composed, was a little nervous at this time. He knew that Xiaolan's identity was special. She was so serious now, which meant that what she was going to say must be a big deal. And it was very likely related to his child. As a prospective father, how could he stay calm? Na Feng looked solemnly, looking back and forth at Long Woody and Lin Mimi, combined with Lin Mimi's slightly bulging belly, and Xiaonan previous words. The chosen ones cannot have children. Na Feng probably guessed what Xiaonan wanted to say. All the chosen ones have 2 curses imposed by him, Xiaonan said slowly. The first curse is, the chosen ones only have a lifespan of 100 years. The second curse is, Xiaonan looked at Lin Mimi's belly and sighed, the chosen ones cannot have children. Lin Mimi's body trembled slightly. She gently stroked her belly, looking a little flustered. Long Woody was still calm. He said, will there be exceptions? For example, did he forget to curse us? Xiaonan shook his head. Absolutely impossible, Long Woody said. Then, is it possible that, for some reason we don't know, the curse was lifted? Xiaonan hesitated for a while, nodded, and said, your curse has indeed been lifted. But the person who lifted the curse has bad intentions. Suana, she was once a god. Only Suana in the world today can lift the curse from him, because Suana still retains a trace of divine power. But her purpose is not simple. She uses 49 magic threads to connect the 2 of you together, and uses your power to continuously nourish that little life. You may not feel anything now, but when the fetus grows a little bigger, you will become weaker and weaker, and even your level will regress. When the baby is born, it will be your death. Lin Mimi covered her belly, and became visibly panicked. What a cruel method, Xiao Luo said with a cold face. She is afraid of Brother Long. So afraid that she dare not fight Brother Long head-on. Na Feng sneered. Fortunately Xiaonan discovered her conspiracy. On the side, Long Woody had a heavy face, thought for a long time, and asked, will Mimi and I definitely die? Xiaonan shook his head. No. I can break the thread, and you will be fine. But once the fetus loses the energy supply from both of you, it will definitely die. Long Woody repeated the question with more accurate words. I mean, if we give birth to this child, will we definitely die? Na Feng and Xiao Luo looked at each other, with a flash of suspicion in their eyes. Long Woody wants to give birth to this child. He is risking his life. Well, I don't know either. Xiaonan scratched his head. I have never encountered such a situation before. But I guess, you will most likely die. And your strength will decline, and become a cripple. You will most likely die. And you will most likely become a cripple. Long Woody and Lin Mimi looked at each other. In their hearts, they may have the answer. Chapter 785. Pessimists are always right. But only optimists can move forward. Brother Long, think twice. Seeing the expressions of Long Woody and Lin Mimi, Na Feng had a bad feeling and quickly advised, Xiaonan has just said that if you don't give up this child, you will die. Long Woody chuckled and said, it's just that you may die. Not that you will definitely die. How can we give up our children so easily? Lin Mimi whispered. Even if there is only a 1 in 10,000 chance. We will try. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Na Feng turned around and secretly winked at Xiaonan. Xiaonan understood immediately and made an okay gesture. What I said just now was a little ill-considered, Xiaonan said seriously. Even if you are still alive after the child is born, don't forget Siana. She will definitely kill you. At that time, not only will you die, but your newborn baby will also die. Na Feng shook his head helplessly. Xiaonan, what are you doing? I'm asking you to break the magic hook thread while Long Woody isn't paying attention. What are you talking about here? If talking about reason is useful, then why do you need to upgrade? What arsenal do you need? Just change the title of the book to I convince 3,000 strong enemies by talking about reason. Xiaonan didn't know what Na Feng was thinking, and raised her eyebrows at Na Feng with a smug look on her face, meaning, what do you think? Is there anything wrong with what I said? Long Woody lowered his head slightly, thinking carefully about what Xiaonan said. Objectively speaking, Xiaonan was right. If they really gave birth to this child, it would be equivalent to handing the lives of their entire family to Soyana. Of course, They could choose to stay in South City and get Xiaonan protection. But with Xiaonan's childlike and naughty personality, there would definitely be times when he would be careless. And Long Woody felt that it was unreliable if he gave up this child. Long Woody glanced at Lin Mimi's belly and shook his head slowly. You don't even know what will happen in the future. So you choose to give up? This is not Long Woody character. No matter how difficult it is, I will try, Long Woody said seriously. Long. Nan Feng wanted to say something else, but was interrupted by Long Woody. Brother Feng, this is not a dead end. In my life, I have encountered too many more dangerous, urgent, and difficult problems than this. Long Woody chuckled. I still have 7 months. As long as I can kill Suyana within these 7 months, I can break the deadlock. Even if we can't kill her, Mimi and I can still hide in South City and seek your protection. Brother Feng, you won't just stand by and watch her die. Right? I believe that one day, you will catch up with Suyana, and then kill her, and solve this big problem for me. There is plenty of time. I still have a lot of time to think about countermeasures and find ways to break the deadlock. You want me to give up my child now? I can't do it. Nan Feng remained silent. What Long Woody said was not without reason. Who knows how many variables will happen in these 7 months? At least you have to fight Suyana seriously and try to kill her. Right? If you don't even try this, and give up this unborn little life, that would be too aggrieved. Have you ever thought that, if you kill Suyana, the line connecting you and the child will be broken, and the child will still die? Xiao Luo spoke calmly. Long Woody thought for a while, and replied, then control her, or cripple her. As long as we are strong enough, there will always be a way, because there are always more ways than problems. Xiao Luo nodded gently. Suyana is not invincible. Xiao Luo felt that. If the 3 of them joined forces, they would have a chance to kill her. At worst, it would be okay to seriously injure her. Right? For this child, you are likely to become a cripple. Nan Feng sighed and said, Brother Long, is it worth it for you to do this? Long Woody said sternly. Of course it is worth it. Because this is my child. Nan Feng, what about the other chosen ones? What about the other dragon countrymen? What about the other Blue Star people? If you are disabled, who will protect them? There is a saying now, if the sky falls, Long Woody will hold it up. Long Woody, you are the giant in our hearts. No matter what time, no matter where, as long as Long Woody is nearby, everyone will feel extremely relieved. The sense of security brought by Long Woody is beyond words, surpassing everything. Perhaps, for many people, Long Woody is the god in their hearts. Giant? Long Woody murmured, and then chuckled. Brother Feng, Brother Xiao, you can also be giants. And I do this to better protect them. Nan Feng and Xiao Luo were puzzled. But Long Woody did not explain too much. Okay, let's do it this way for now. Long Woody waved his hand and said, in short, there is still a lot of time. After Mimi and I go back, we will seriously consider it. If I find that the situation is beyond my expectations, I will take the initiative to find Xiaonan and cut off the line. Nan Feng, Xiao Luo, and Xiaonan looked at each other and nodded silently. They must try their best to give this little life a chance to survive. Everyone stopped talking and walked back quietly. Soon, the 5 people arrived outside the gate of Longcheng. Long Woody and Lin Mimi stopped, while Nan Feng and the other 2 were going to walk a distance further, returning to Nancheng. Brother Feng, come here for a moment. I have something to tell you. Long Woody suddenly spoke, calling Nan Feng. The 2 walked to the side, and Long Woody released a misty aura, covering the 2, preventing others from hearing their conversation. What's wrong, Brother Long? Seeing Long Woody being so serious, Nan Feng was a little puzzled. Long Woody said, regarding this child, I have something to ask of you. Nan Feng did not wait for Long Woody to finish, and began to persuade him, Brother Long, I still think your decision is too risky. Your talent, your potential, far surpass everyone else. If you give up this child, you will have plenty of time to grow, to break through, to surpass Suyana, to become a new god. You don't need to put yourself in such a dilemma. Although he knew that he could not persuade Long Woody tonight, he still couldn't help but want to say these words. Long Woody was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, Brother Feng, when we encounter difficulties, we should try to solve them first, instead of giving up directly. But I don't think you can solve this difficulty. Nafeng said pessimistically. It's a very simple truth. Suyana just needs to find a place to hide. And we can't kill her. The universe is so big. Suyana wants to hide. Where can they find her? After the child is born. After Long Woody is disabled. Nafeng and Xiao Lu alone. Can they really be Suyana opponents? Can they really protect Long Woody family? Nafeng felt it was difficult, or even impossible. Long Woody said, Brother Feng, pessimists are always right, but only optimists can move forward. You haven't even tried yet. How do you know it's impossible? Even if the road ahead is full of thorns, we can't just lie down, but we have to cut through these thorns and move forward step by step. Pessimists are always right. Nafeng was stunned for a long time before he came back to his senses. He looked at Long Woody and asked in confusion, By the way, you just said you had something to ask of me? Long Woody looked at Nafeng's current state and said with a smile, I tell you tomorrow. It's getting late, and it's time to go back and rest. Oh! Nafeng didn't remember how he walked home. He sat cross-legged on the bed in a trance, thinking about Long Woody words. Even if the road ahead is full of thorns, we can't lie down where we are. But we have to cut through these thorns and walk through them step by step. He closed his eyes, calmed down, and appeared in a thorn. Since the appearance of the heart-searching gate, every time Nafeng closed his eyes, he would appear here. He didn't know how to get out of this thorn, cut them off, and walk through step by step, looking at the dense thorns in front of him. Nafeng felt a little numb. Me? Nafeng? Cut off these thorns? I went to elementary school for 7 years. I can only do 2 pull-ups. I can't find a girlfriend. I was unemployed after graduation, and I could only rely on my parents' relationship to get into a small company. I work like a cow and a horse every day. Cut off these thorns? Can I do it? I can't. Here, I am just an ordinary person, without the power of level 45, without the powerful divine weapon of my destiny. I, Nafeng, can't cut through these thorns. Nafeng opened his eyes, looking ahead with empty eyes. After a moment, he got out of bed, prepared to go out for a walk. When holding the door handle, Nafeng suddenly turned around and got on the bed, sitting cross-legged again, closing his eyes. Long Woody is right, pessimists are always right, but optimists can move forward. At this moment, Nafeng wants to try. Just do it. Do it bravely. Chapter 786, She no longer has that invincible heart. Dragon Calendar, October 11th. In the morning, Xiaonan carried a small school bag on her back and jumped to school. During this period, she has grown a little taller, already more than 1.4 meters tall. But she still has the mentality of a child. Because she is still in the first grade, the classmates in the class are just 6 or 7-year-old brats. She hangs out with a group of brats every day, and has already integrated into them, no different from a child. Xiaonan thought, this is a good thing. She had seen the god of creation more than 200,000 years ago, and witnessed the battle between him and the Green Star people. The Green Star people lost completely, because the god of creation at that time had completely wiped out his humanity, and only his divinity remained. He no longer had his own thoughts, emotions, desires, thoughts. He completely merged with the heavenly Tao, and became a law-like existence. How could the Green Star people, who had just been promoted to gods at that time, defeat the heavenly Tao and fight against the laws of this universe? In fact, Xiaonan didn't think anyone could defeat the god of creation. Even if someone could defeat the god of creation, the final result would only be to replace him and become the new heavenly Tao. Win or lose, the result would be the same. So Xiaonan never planned to fight the god of creation. She didn't want Nafeng to fight him either. She thought the heart-searching past could hold Nafeng back for a long time and keep him out of the first echelon. Unexpectedly, Long Woody casual words that night actually made Nafeng realize something. It's really annoying. Xiaonan muttered softly. What's the good of becoming a god? She didn't understand why Nafeng wanted to become a god. Is it because he didn't want Suyana to devour my godhood? Xiaonan thought helplessly. However, no matter who became a god in the end, she would sacrifice her godhood, because she didn't want to be sealed for more than 100,000 years. No one wants to experience that kind of endless loneliness a second time. When passing a breakfast shop, a voice came from behind Xiaonan. Xiaonan. Xiao Lu asked. Where is Nafeng? Why has he been missing for 3 days? Xiaonan turned around and said, Brother is at home getting enlightened. He will probably be able to break through in the next 2 days. Is there anything you need from him? No. I'm just asking. Xiao Luo walked outside the breakfast shop and said calmly, Boss, give me 2 trays of dumplings and a cup of soy milk. Xiao Nan. Do you want to eat it? Xiao Nan shook his head in disdain. Is this edible? My opinion is that it is not as good as milk tea. Breakfast shop owner. Xiao Nan went to the next door to buy 3 cups of milk tea, and then continued to jump to school. Well, 1 cup in the morning, 1 cup at noon, 1 cup in the afternoon, perfect. Huh? No. Milk tea is not delicious when it is left at night. Forget it, drink it all in the morning, and buy it again at noon. Hee, perfect. In the endless starry sky, a piece of space was torn open by white hands, and Suyana walked out of it with a calm face. She looked ahead, and the primitive world was very close to her. In about 2 or 3 hours, she would arrive. At this distance, her perception could already touch the primitive world. She found that the 49 magic threads connecting Long Woody and Lin Mimi were still there. Suyana was not surprised. She knew what Long Woody wanted, and what she did was actually helping Long Woody. At the same time, she could also take this opportunity to eliminate Long Woody. Of course, if Long Woody really let Xiao Nan cut these threads, then Suyana would be happier, because she could continue to have dreams. To interfere with Long Woody mentality, because he was too afraid of Suyana. He killed his own child with his own hands. TSK. If Long Woody heard such words, he would probably go berserk. Right? For Suyana, no matter how the process was, the final result would be that Long Woody would be defeated by her. From the moment that little life was born, Long Woody ending was doomed. After getting rid of Long Woody, who should I choose as my final opponent? Suyana pondered for a moment. A level 48 warrior. The magic power in his body will condense into a god crystal, which is equivalent to half a godhead. Only by killing another level 48 warrior, and letting the 2 god crystals combine together, can they condense into a complete godhead. Therefore, Suyana needs to choose an opponent for herself at level 48. Choose an opponent who can win for sure. Long Woody is too strong. They are both at level 48. Suyana has no confidence that she can defeat him, so she wants to get rid of Long Woody in advance. As for Emperor Zun, as a native, it is too difficult for him to reach level 48. It may take hundreds of years. Suyana does not have that much time to wait. Find an opportunity to kill him and devour him. As for Nanfeng, Suyana lowered her eyes slightly and looked at her right hand. The index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger of her right hand have a slight color difference from the palm, making them look more immature. This is because her 4 fingers were condensed with magic power just 2 days ago. The original fingers were swallowed by Nanfeng Black Ball, leaving nothing behind. Thinking back to the terrifying Black Ball, Suyana felt a little nervous. What a terrible innate magic weapon. Suyana muttered to herself. If Nanfeng breaks through level 48, with the blessing of the innate magic weapon, she may not win. Fortunately, she also has a way. If Nanfeng really breaks through level 48 in the end, she will tell Nanfeng about the huge weakness of the innate magic weapon. At that time, Nanfeng will definitely be affected, and then defeated by her. Thinking about it this way, it seems that no matter who is promoted to level 48 in the end, they are not her opponent. The obstacles on the road to becoming a god have been cleared. Suyana's mouth corners slightly raised, and she tore open the space again, escaping to the original world. She did not realize that her mentality had changed. She no longer had that invincible heart. Chapter 787 Tangled South Wind. Dragon Calendar October 12th. The new king of the Wadika Empire, Suyana, who had disappeared for a long time, reappeared in the public eye. But she was strongly resisted by the people of Wadika. The reason is simple, because when the emperor and Suyana fought before, the emperor sent a dream to the residents of the entire giant city, and slandered Suyana badly. In the hearts of the people of Wadika, Suyana is an extremely vicious woman. King-killing, usurpation, despicable and shameless. So, when Suyana walked in the palace, the soldiers in the palace picked up their weapons, and glared at Suyana. They didn't care whether Suyana was powerful or not. They only knew that the woman in front of them had used extremely despicable means to kill their king. It was simply unforgivable. The Wadika people had bodies as strong as beasts, but their IQ was a bit hard to describe. In short, they were a bit stubborn and single-minded. In fact, this was also reasonable. because their strong bodies could deal with most dangers without consuming brain cells. Over time, their IQ showed signs of degradation. Otherwise, the Emperor would not be able to easily brainwash more than half of the residents of Giant City with just a dream. "You despicable bitch. You dare to come back!" a soldier shouted angrily. "You killed our king. I want you to pay with your life. Pay with your life. Pay with your life. Pay with your life." Encouraged by him, the other soldiers all roared and approached Suana aggressively. Suana was not in a hurry, and just waved her hand casually. In an instant, all the soldiers fell asleep. In the dream, it was still the same scene. But this time, Suana and Emperor Zun exchanged their identities. The one who killed King Wadika was Emperor Zun, and Suana became King Wadika's best friend. After about 10 seconds, the soldiers woke up slowly, looking a little confused. In the end, which one is the truth? Or none of them is true? Ah, my head itches, as if I need to grow a brain. Suana's eyes narrowed. She glared at the soldier who had just led the commotion, and then strode into the palace. She sat on the huge throne, and whispered, "From now on, we will march south, and we will conquer the world." Her voice was very soft, but it spread throughout the giant city in an instant, and continued to spread far away, and soon spread throughout the entire Wadika Empire. The Wadika soldiers fighting on the front line cheered. "The king of the Wadika Empire is back. They are going to launch a counterattack." In the southern part of the Falling Sun Empire, the capital, Long Woody has always said people to keep an eye on the Wadika Empire. So he knew it the moment Suayana came back. Mount troops to the south? It seems that the current scale of the war has not met her expectations. Long Woody stood by the window and pondered. The Three Kingdoms War has lasted for more than 3 months. On average, thousands of soldiers die on the battlefield every day. Is this kind of war not enough to satisfy Suana? Does she want to be like Thanos and kill half of the creatures in the primitive world before she stops? If we don't stop it, the war will sooner or later spread to the capital, which is not a good thing, Long Woody murmured in a low voice. In fact, in the past 3 months, he has sent many strong men to lobby everywhere, hoping to make the 3 warring parties stop. He even went to the Sun and Moon Mountains once, but it was useless. The soldiers on the front line were getting more and more excited, and they could not listen to anything. They were like losing their minds. There was only one way to stop them from killing each other, and that was to kill them all. But it was obvious that Long Woody would not do that. He stayed near the Sun and Moon Mountains for 3 days, but still could not think of any way to stop the war. In the end, he could only return to the capital in dismay and make long-term plans. To untie the bell, you must find the person who tied it. If you want to stop this world war, you must first solve the person at the root of the problem. Long Woody looked deep in his eyes, looking to the north, where the Wadika Empire was located. As if sensing Long Woody's eyes, at the same time, Suana also looked coldly to the south, with a cold smile. This smile was meaningful, as if she was saying to Long Woody, "Come, let's fight." Long Woody ignored Suana's provocation. It was impossible to fight alone. If he accidentally died at the hands of Suana, then his child would also die, and Lin Mei would most likely not be spared. Because he had concerns in his heart, he would not do anything that he was not 100% sure of. One-on-one. Ha-ha. Long Woody smiled jokingly. Suana, you have been out for so long. Don't you even have a friend? It's really sad. Long Woody opened the panel and sent out 2 messages. One was sent to Nan Feng. "Brother Feng, contact me as soon as you break through." One was sent to Xiao Luo, "Please bring Mr. Tang Chungyun to the capital. I have something important to ask for." For level 46. Such a strong lineup. Suana, what can you use to fight me? Now, everything is ready. Just waiting for Nan Feng to break through. October 19th of the Dragon Calendar. Another week has passed. Nan Feng retreat time is much longer than everyone imagined. Even Xiaonan is a little nervous. "Brother, you won't be able to pass this level, right?" Xiaonan stood in front of Nan Feng's bed, observing Nan Feng's expression carefully. Nan Feng's eyes were closed. His brows were furrowed, and he looked tangled. He didn't know what trouble he had encountered. His whole body was covered with small holes, which looked like he was pierced by some sharp objects. From time to time, gray-brown blood beads would flow out of these small holes. Xiaonan knew that Nan Feng was expelling impurities from his body, making his body purer and stronger. "I am indeed making a breakthrough. Why is it taking so long?" After thinking for a while with his head tilted, Xiaonan couldn't figure it out. So he simply put his mind to it. He hadn't finished his homework last night, so he couldn't waste his precious time early in the morning on his brother. Xiaonan carried his school bag and skipped to school. Nanfeng, who was undergoing the test of the heart, was really confused at this time. More than a week ago, he mustered up his courage and set out on the road to conquer thorns for the first time. At first, he carefully broke off the thorns in front of him, cleared a path, and slowly moved forward. But this was too time-consuming and laborious. 2 days later, Nanfeng changed his strategy and plunged into the thorn forest, choosing to fight hard. The thorns pierced his body, leaving him covered in wounds and blood. Each thorn represented an innocent person who died in his hands. Some people, Nanfeng remembered. Some people, Nanfeng didn't remember at all, because most of them were killed by Nanfeng's terrifying firepower. Nanfeng could feel their anger, despair, and pain. He could only try his best to keep his will and keep moving forward. Finally, after walking for an unknown period of time, Nanfeng saw the end of the road. But the thorns before the end were even denser, layer upon layer, with almost no gaps. These thorns intertwined with each other, like a solid wall. Nanfeng knew that his current body could not break through this wall. But Nanfeng saw the matter annihilation cannon lying quietly in front of him. Should he rely on his own divine weapon to overcome this difficulty, or stay here forever? Nanfeng was in a dilemma. Chapter 788, Coming Out of Retreat. Level 46. October 20th of the Dragon Calendar. Nanfeng, who had been in retreat for half a month, finally walked out of the room. The weather is nice. Nanfeng stood calmly at the door, feeling the warm sunshine on his body. The feeling of basking in the sun is really good. Breakthrough? Xiao Luo, who was sitting on the opposite street, said. He was holding a delicate knife in his hand, carving something. Yes, breakthrough. Nanfeng smiled slightly and walked over. Congratulations, Xiao Luo said calmly, concentrating on carving his wood carving. Nanfeng glanced at him and found that he was carving Si Kong Bushua pocket watch. Carve it better, and give me one when the time comes, Nanfeng said. Pocket watches sometimes have miraculous effects, especially when facing Soyana, but you can't use it often. Otherwise you will become desensitized. Okay. Xiao Luo nodded. Have you been waiting here for me to break through? Nanfeng asked curiously. Yes. Long Woody said that after you break through, let's go to Beijing to find him together. At this point, Xiao Luo stopped carving, put the unfinished pocket watch into his backpack, and said, let's go to Beijing. After the breakthrough, Nanfeng had not opened the tactical watch, so he did not see the message Long Woody sent him. Brother Long is looking for us? Did he say what it was? Yes. He asked us to go and kill Suyana together. Wow. Nanfeng's face condensed. This is a big deal, and we can't be careless. Suyana is like a sword hanging over everyone's head. If she is not removed, no one will be at ease. Let's go. Nanfeng just took out the teleportation array and saw Xiaonan jumping over from a distance. Huh? Xiaonan. School is over so early. The sun is still hanging in the sky, and it's not time to go home yet. Xiaonan. Skipped class? No. It's impossible. My Xiaonan is so well behaved. He will definitely not skip class. It should be because the school caught fire today, so school was over early. Xiaonan giggled. It's not over yet. I sense that you have made a breakthrough, so I ran back secretly. Nanfeng. Finally reached level 46. It's not easy. Xiaonan looked Nanfeng up and down for a while, then said, let's go. Brother, let's go to the Sea of No Form. Nanfeng was puzzled. Why go to the Sea of No Form? Xiaonan, I found a few very suitable sandbags for you, to help you break through level 47. Hiss, is there such a good thing? Nanfeng sucked in a breath of cold air. This feeling of nurturing. Who is whose pet? Wait a few days before going, I have something to deal with first. Nanfeng thought for a moment, and refused. Xiaonan looked at Xiao Luo, and then at Nanfeng, and asked, are you going to kill Suyana? Seeing that Xiaonan had guessed it, Nanfeng did not hide it, and nodded, yes, you won't help her. Right? No. Xiaonan's tone was flat, and he didn't seem to care about Suyana's life or death at all. But I want to remind you that you can't kill her, and it's a waste of time to go. Xiao Luo frowned slightly. Why can't we kill her? We have 4 level 46 players here. Could it be that even if we put all of us together, we're still no match for her? The problem is not whether you can beat her or not, the problem is, Suyana can run. She not stupid. Seeing the 4 of you rushing towards her aggressively, doesn't she know how to hide? This. Nan Feng and Xiao Luo looked at each other. They only thought about how to defeat Suyana, but never thought about how to find Suyana. Now think about it. It seems that every time I fight with Suyana, she is the one who comes to me. Before, when her strength was not as good as Emperor Zun, she didn't even dare to show her head. What a cautious woman. Nan Feng pondered for a while. Then can you find her? Xiao Nan nodded, of course. But the battle between you have to solve it by yourselves. I won't help anyone. After a pause, Xiao Nan added, also, brother, I can protect you up to level 47 at most. After level 47, if you are killed by Suyana, then I won't care. What are you talking about? Nan Feng glared at Xiao Nan. Let's go kill Suyana now. Don't give her a chance to reach level 47. Xiao Luo, let's go. Let's meet up with Brother Long, and then go find Suyana. She can hide. Can't we still find her? I don't believe we can't find her. Xiao Luo nodded, and the two of them took Shenpan, who was waiting in the capital, as their target, and teleported there together. At the last second of the transmission, Nan Feng heard Xiaonan say, when do you want to go to the Sea of No Form? Come back and call me. In the southern part of the Falling Sun Empire, the capital, Shenpan and Wang Mumu were shopping. Nan Feng and Xiao Luo simply greeted them, and walked towards the City Lord Mansion to find Long Woody. Everyone's heart-searching gait is different, Xiao Luo said. It took you so long this time. Did you encounter any trouble? Nan Feng recalled this mental journey, and said with emotion, it was indeed quite troublesome. Just to survive the inner torment, I had exhausted all my strength. At the last moment, I encountered a major problem. What problem? Either use your life-defining magic weapon to easily pass the level, or stay where you are and continue to suffer. What is your choice? Guess. While chatting, the two of them had already strode into the City Lord Mansion, walked up the stairs, and came to Long Woody office. Long Woody already knew that the two were coming, and had been waiting here long ago. Brother Feng, congratulations. Long Woody looked at Nan Feng, and said with a smile, you look like a strong man now. Hey you. Nan Feng made a husky pointing gesture. What do you mean? Didn't I look like a strong man before? My state of mind is different. And my feeling is different. Long Woody didn't explain too much, but went straight to the point. I guess Brother Xiao has already told you the purpose of this trip? Nan Feng nodded. There is no time to lose. Let's call Elder Tang and set off quickly, to avoid any more trouble. Since the Three Kingdoms War began, the chosen ones near the Sun and Moon Mountains have all been withdrawn. Nan Feng and his team can only fly over. It is equivalent to flying from the southernmost part of the empire to the northernmost part of the empire, across the entire Falling Sun Empire. Based on Tang Chungyun, the slowest among them, it would take about 3 days to reach the Sun and Moon Mountains. This is too long, and it is easy for something to go wrong. However, Long Woody has a way. He took everyone to fly directly out of space, flew from space to the Sun and Moon Mountains, and then airdropped. This saved more than half of the time, because the air in the primitive world contains extremely abundant magic power. The resistance is very large, and their speed cannot be faster. But there is no such restriction in outer space. In the absence of resistance, Nan Feng, who has a tactical mecha, is even faster than Long Woody. When the three people descended from the sky and came to the sky above the Sun and Moon Mountains, they were stunned by the scene below. There were mountains of corpses and seas of corpses, and the ground was covered with scarlet. Even in the air, Nan Feng could smell the stench of rotting corpses. The entire Sun and Moon Mountains had become a purgatory on Earth. And every day, soldiers came from various countries to die. They all became stepping stones for Suyana to become a god. How miserable, Nan Feng whispered. The other three did not speak, but were thinking silently in their hearts. Is there any way to stop this endless war? Only one Liyun beast responded to Nan Feng with its loud voice. Roar! Chapter 789, What Suyana Cares About Most. Roar! Liyun beast let out a roar that shook the sky, and flew quickly towards Nan Feng and others. Where it passed, dark clouds covered the sky, lightning and thunder roared, and it felt like a big boss had appeared. You two-legged beasts dare to blaspheme the sky, and you will die quickly. Nan Feng looked at the Liyun beast flying at full speed, and said word by word. Lord Nafong can actually understand animal language? Tang Chungyun couldn't help but sigh. Lord Nafong is really knowledgeable and talented, as he can master such a niche language. Nanfeng spread his hands. Ah! I just said it casually. How could anyone understand the beast language? The god of creation didn't translate it. Look, there are a lot of Liyun beasts coming over there. Xiao Luo pointed in another direction. The soldiers of the three empires have been fighting in the Sun and Moon Mountains for several months. Only in the first few days, some of the young men dared to fly into the sky. In the following months, they all fought on the ground in a tacit understanding and never took off. Even if they were flying, they would be flying at a very low altitude, which would not attract the attention of the Liyun beast. In fact, this group of Liyun beasts did a good thing. It was because they guarded the sky that the war was suppressed on the ground, which indirectly reduced many casualties. Otherwise, everyone would fly around in the sky, without cover, without tactics, and would just attack anyone they saw, and the soldiers would die faster. Let's go down, Longwoody said. It would be better to keep this group of Liyun beasts. The others could also imagine the purpose of the flowing cloud beast, and naturally would not kill them, and fell from the sky one after another. After everyone landed, the flowing cloud beast turned a few circles in the sky in a show of force, and then flew away. The most disciplined beast. Several people landed on a small hill. Nanfeng looked at the bushes not far away and said, "There are people in the bushes over there." There was a group of soldiers from the Haoyue Empire in the bushes. They all held their weapons tightly, and their expressions were somewhat excited. "They seem to have discovered us?" One of the soldiers whispered. "They are not from the Haoyue Empire. Charge! Kill them!" As the soldier finished speaking, more than 20 big men jumped out of the bushes. They screamed at the top of their lungs, raised their swords, and rushed towards Nanfeng and his 4 companions. They are really crazy. Nanfeng was a little helpless. They can clearly see how big the gap in strength is between us, but they still rush up to die. Xiao Luo said, "These are all soldiers of level 20 or 30. How can they remain rational under the influence of Suiyana?" Some time ago, Xiao Luo was dragged into a dream by Suiyana. He knew best how powerful Suiyana was. Even a level 46 warrior like him could be hit in an instant. How could these rookies withstand it? Go! Longwoody lightly pushed out a palm, and the gentle palm wind sent the group of soldiers several kilometers away. Suiyana influence is getting stronger and stronger. Longwoody's face was a little solemn. When I came here last time, there were not even a few level 35 soldiers on this battlefield. But in this team just now, there are actually level 37 soldiers. In a few months, I'm afraid that even strong men above level 40 will come in and join in. In fact, near the Sun and Moon Mountains, there are many strong men above level 40 who have been influenced by Suiyana. They have heard too many tragedies. Which town was massacred by soldiers from other countries? Which family was wiped out? And which newborn child was brutally killed? Each of these incidents, each of them, could arouse their anger and hatred. Coupled with Suiyana's subtle influence, several level 40 warriors have already rushed to the Sun and Moon Mountains. This is Suiyana's ultimate goal. Even if 100 or 1,000 soldiers of level 20 or 30 died, it would not be as good as killing a level 40 warrior. If it is not stopped, the final result of this war is that all the warriors above level 40 in various countries will die, and it will stop. So vicious, Longwoody murmured. And the mist quickly spread in all directions, trying to find Suiyana trace. He had been paying attention to Suiyana movements. 3 days ago, Suiyana left the Waidika Empire and went to the Sun and Moon Mountains alone. Of course, this was most likely a smokescreen released by Suiyana to mislead Longwoody. In fact, she was not here at all. But there was no way. This was the only clue Longwoody had. In order to find Suiyana, he could only start from the Sun and Moon Mountains. Nanfeng said, "Let's look for her separately. But don't go too far away." They scattered, keeping a distance. No matter who was in danger, they could support them at the first time. The 4 people had a wide range of perception. With a dragnet search, it took only more than an hour to explore the entire Sun and Moon Mountains. No trace of Suiyana was found. It is possible that Suiyana has a way to hide her body and avoid their perception. It is also possible that Suiyana is not here at all. As the sky gradually darkened, the 4 people gathered together again and began to discuss countermeasures. Suiyana is determined to hide. It is difficult for us to find her. Nanfeng touched his chin and thought. We must think of a way to force her out and let her come to us. Long Woody nodded slightly. The idea is fine. But how can we make her come to us? Tang Chungyun pondered and said, we can only start with what she cares about most. What do you think? We go to the palace of the Wadika Empire and make a scene. Nefeng shook his head and said, I'm afraid she doesn't care about the Wadika Empire at all, and she even wants us to fight. Xiao Luo thought for a long time and said, I have a way. What is it? What Suyana cares about most now should be this world war. Xiao Luo said calmly, if we can stop this war, Suyana will definitely show up. The rest of the people looked at each other, their faces showing difficulty. And they felt it was a bit tricky. These soldiers were completely irrational, neither listening to advice nor fearing death. How could they be stopped? Could they beg him to be a little more careful? Xiao Luo picked up a branch and drew a stretch of mountains on the ground. Look. Let's say this is the Sun and Moon Mountains. There are endless mountains everywhere here. If they can't fly, how did the soldiers rush to this battlefield from all over the world? I have observed today that they mainly enter the battlefield from these 6 relatively wide roads. Xiao Luo said, marking 6 locations on the ground. If we can cut off these 6 roads, the soldiers will have to cross mountains and ridges and make a big detour before they can enter the battlefield in the middle. Long Woody smiled. Cutting off the main traffic routes can indeed cool down this war. But this is not a long-term solution. Nefeng frowned. There are no roads in this world. As more people walk, roads will appear. It won't be long before the soldiers will open up new roads. We can't just stay here all the time. If they open up one road, we will cut one road. Right? What if this happens? Xiao Luo drew a circle on the ground, surrounding the entire Sun and Moon Mountains. Chapter 790 The Power of a Knife. The Sun-Moon Mountains today have become a veritable meat grinder. The soldiers of the 3 empires have continuously entered the mountains to die, providing energy to Soyana. In order to stop all this, Xiao Luo's solution is to completely isolate this meat grinder from the major empires. It is equivalent to digging a hole in the middle of the map, leaving no intersection between the 3 empires. In this way, the soldiers of the 3 empires can only bypass the Sun-Moon Mountains, divide into several groups, and attack the other 2 countries from the side. Divide this huge battlefield into several small-scale battlefields. The rate of death of soldiers can be greatly reduced. Nefeng and his 4 companions discussed for a while, and felt that this plan could be tried. They immediately started to act. The Falling Sun Empire. Huazhou City, which is closest to the Sun and Moon Mountains. A team of hunters, fully armed, rushed to the Sun and Moon Mountains at night. We are about to go to the battlefield, and I am a little excited just thinking about it. In the team, a bearded man took off the wine pot on his waist, gulped down a big gulp, and said angrily, those damn Haoyue people. I must kill them without leaving a single piece of armor this time. And the Wadika people. They should be killed too. That's right. The members of the team echoed one after another, and started to discuss. They seemed to have never considered whether they would die after stepping onto this dangerous battlefield. I heard that the soldiers in several nearby cities have almost died. A young man said angrily. I don't know what the Emperor is thinking. Why doesn't he send troops to support us? Is he going to watch our territory being occupied by the other 2 empires? Shut up. Don't be disrespectful to the Emperor. The captain, who had been silent all this time, shouted in a low voice. The Emperor has his own decisions. We can't speculate at will. The young people in the team quickly shut up. This hunter team is not soldiers of the Falling Sun Empire. They are from the people. It is a team formed by themselves. They usually move around in the southeast of the empire, making a living by hunting beasts, and occasionally accepting some tasks of escorting caravans, or robbing caravans. Some time ago, they received a mission to escort a caravan to Huazhou City, with a generous reward. Along the way, they heard a lot about the 3 Kingdoms War. In these true or false stories, the Haoyue people and the Wadika people raped and plundered, doing all kinds of evil, which made people hate them. After arriving in Huazhou City, they found that every household here hung white silk and cried day and night. Their hatred for the other 2 countries became more serious. After staying in Huazhou City for 2 days, the captain slapped his head and made a decision that went against his ancestors. He wanted to go to the battlefield. He wanted to kill the enemy. Once this idea appeared in his mind, it could never be shaken off. He wanted to disband the team and enter the Sun and Moon Mountains alone. But after his team members learned of the captain's idea, they all expressed their support. They also wanted to go to the battlefield. They wanted to kill all the enemies. So, the members of this hunter team took out their wife's book and coffin book and began to buy various weapons, protective gear, dry food, and various medicines. It is worth mentioning that these things were bought from the caravan they escorted. The caravan paid the team back in full. Tonight, they finally made their preparations and set out on the road to the Sun Moon Mountains. There are many teams like them. Many people came to the Sun Moon Mountains from afar, just to win this war. The flames of war burned in their hearts. For the sake of future generations. For the fallen Sun Empire. They voluntarily die on the battlefield. Go 2 kilometers further, and you will reach the Sunrise Canyon. The captain looked at the map and said, the Sunrise Canyon is 26 kilometers long. After passing through it, we will officially enter the Sun and Moon Mountains. Everyone must be careful. The treacherous Halua people may ambush us in the Sunrise Canyon. The team members nodded and carefully observed the surrounding environment to avoid stepping into the trap set by others. A few minutes later, the hunter team arrived outside the Sunrise Canyon. There were many hunter teams with similar situations, gathering outside the Sunrise Canyon, preparing to wait until there were enough people, and then cross the canyon together. Another team has arrived. We now have more than 100 people. Even if someone ambushes in the canyon, we are not afraid. In the crowd, a loud voice shouted, brothers from all over the world, follow me. With a loud voice leading the way, the more than 100 people walked into the canyon in a mighty manner. They didn't know that, right above the canyon, there were 2 pairs of eyes watching them. It's amazing. Nanfeng crossed his arms over his chest and said doubtfully, these people don't know each other. Don't they have any doubts about the people around them? What if there are people from the Halua Empire mixed in? Xiao Luo pondered. Their hearts are all on the battlefield. I guess they don't have the rationality to think about other things. Nanfeng sighed slightly. This is the 3rd wave tonight. They are so eager to die, alas. Suoya Na influence almost covers every corner of the 3 empires. Nanfeng guessed that Mother-Child Mirror should have made great contributions, otherwise, with her current strength, she would not be able to achieve this level. Now those who are affected are still those who are less than level 40. In a few months, or even a year or 2, the consequences will be unimaginable. I have observed almost everything, Nanfeng said decisively. Xiao Luo, cut off this canyon. Okay, you step back a little. Xiao Luo slowly flew up to the sky and took out Qiyao. Roar! The Luyan beast, which was hiding somewhere, flew over with a roar after discovering someone in the air. The originally peaceful night sky suddenly flashed with lightning and thunder. Those who blasphemed the sky will be judged by thunder. In the canyon below, the hunter teams that were moving forward all changed their expressions. Oh no, it's the Luyan beast. What are you afraid of the Luyan beast? It won't attack us. What do you know? The Luyan beast appears here, which means there is someone in the sky. Everyone raised their heads. In the moonlight, they vaguely saw the figure in the sky. Who is he? Is he a strong man from our empire? He could also be from the Halua Empire, or the Wadika Empire. Not good. He seems to have drawn his sword. Everyone hide quickly. In the canyon, more than 100 people scattered, each looking for cover. However, Xiao Luo's target was not them. In the sky, Xiao Luo slowly raised Qiyao, and the cold light illuminated the entire canyon. Kaishan. A plain and simple slash. The sword energy that could not be described in words slashed down in the air. A gully that was tens of kilometers long appeared in the Sun and Moon Mountains. The gully was bottomless, and seemed to be thousands of meters deep. The Sunrise Canyon was also cut in half by this slash. Roar! In the distance, Luyan Beast made a sharp turn and turned around and flew back. Chapter 791 Sword Chi Wall. Roar! Luyan Beast let out an angry roar, and flew away. Xiao Luo put away Qiyao, and asked, what did it say? It. Nafeng thought for a while, and answered. It said it was going to find its brothers, and beat you up together. Sure enough, within 30 seconds, the Luyan Beast came back with a large group of Luyan Beasts. Xiao Luo looked at Nafeng in surprise. He was a little doubtful whether Nafeng could really understand Luyan Beast language. Let's go, don't get entangled with these Luyan Beasts. Let's go to the next place. Xiao Luo nodded slightly, and flew to the next key traffic route with Nafeng. A group of Luyan Beasts were chasing them closely. But these Luyan Beasts were horrified to find that, as the overlords of the sky, they couldn't catch up with these 2 bipedal beasts. They seemed to have left. In the Sunrise Canyon, the hunters came out from behind the bunkers one after another. Xiao Luo's sword slashed 2 kilometers away from them, and did not hurt these people. What a terrifying sword! A voice sounded in the crowd, with a tone full of fear. I'm afraid that Lord Emperor Zun can't take this sword head-on. Right? Nonsense. Lord Emperor Zun is the strongest. He can catch this sword with his bare hands. The strongman just now was at most level 45. How could he be a match for Lord Emperor Zun? What is his intention with this sword? Want to cut off the road to the Sun and Moon Mountains? But we can fly, what's the point of cutting it off? To be honest, I don't understand it either. Okay. Everyone, let's set off quickly, try to enter the Sun and Moon Mountains before dawn, and join the soldiers stationed here. Everyone nodded and walked forward. Along the way, they were still discussing the mysterious man's terrifying knife. After moving forward for about 2 kilometers, the hunter who was at the front of the team suddenly exclaimed, "Oh my God, everyone! Look!" Hearing this, everyone raised their heads and looked forward. They saw a natural chasm about several dozen kilometers long and nearly 100 meters wide on the road ahead of them, like a huge mouth of the abyss. This was exactly what Xiao Luo cut with his sword. But this was not the key. A chasm of only 100 meters wide could be easily flown over by everyone present. Moreover, they were in the canyon, and if they flew at a low altitude, they would not attract the attention of the Luyan beast at all. So it was very safe. But among the people present, no one dared to do so, because they could clearly feel that the sharp sword energy was all over the sky above the natural moat. The sword energy that Xiao Luo slashed out stayed here, like an invisible wall, prohibiting anyone from passing through. Whoever dared to fly over here would be cut into pieces by this powerful sword energy, and their bodies would fall directly into the abyss, and they would not be able to collect their bodies. A hunter looked up in a daze, looking at the sky, even thousands of meters above. There is sword energy. If they wanted to fly over the wall of sword energy, they would have to fly higher than when Xiao Luo attacked. But this would definitely attract the Luyan beast, which would be no different from seeking death. Besides, they could only bypass the sword energy wall, climb over mountains, and enter the Sun and Moon Mountains from other places. But this would take several more days, and they might encounter other powerful beasts in the wild mountains. Maybe halfway through, this group of people would be almost dead. What should we do? A hunter's face froze slightly, and he turned to ask his companions for their opinions. It's not realistic to fly over from the sky. Another slightly older, experienced hunter said. We can either go around it, or wait for the sword energy to dissipate. Who knows when the sword energy will dissipate? Let's go around it. That's right, then we should exit the canyon first, and look for other relatively safe ways. Some hunters turned around and left without delay. Some hunters still stood there, looking at the wall of sword energy with shock on their faces, and their hearts were filled with awe. Let's go. Xiaohao. An older hunter patted the young man on the shoulder. Captain, I want to stay here for a while. Xiaohao was silent for a long time before replying. The older hunter saw Xiaohao's thoughts and said earnestly, this kind of powerful move is not something we can understand. Forget it. You see? Remember to come out before dawn. I wait for you at the entrance of the canyon. Yes. Xiaohao nodded solemnly. Thank you, Captain. Soon. Xiaohao was the only one left in front of the sword energy wall. He gently stroked the short knife in his hand, quietly observing the flashing sword energy, and many problems in his mind were solved. The sky gradually brightened, and the sun rose. Xiaohao, who had been observing all night, slowly came back to his senses. He rubbed his sore and swollen eyes, and let out a long breath. It's time to go. The captain is still waiting for me outside. After walking back a few steps, Xiaohao suddenly thought of something, and pulled out his short knife. Swish, swish, swish. He swung the knife several times, and carved a big word on the mountain beside him. Danger. It was also a warning to those who came later. Many hunters pass by this road every day. What if some fools didn't notice the sharp knife energy in the air, and wanted to fly over? He would save as many as he could. Xiaohao put the short knife back into the sheath, and ran out of the canyon. In just one night, my sword skills have greatly improved. When I go to the battlefield, I will be able to kill people everywhere, and make great achievements. If I am luckier, I can get a life-defining magic weapon on the battlefield. Then I will definitely break through level 40, and become a peerless swordsman. One day in the future, I will also be able to strike a sword that will shock the world and make ghosts weep. Xiaohao fantasized about his future, and his heart was surging. Boom! Long Woody punched out, parting the endless mountains in front of him. The wind from his fist whistled, lasting for a long time. People below level 40, even if they stood 100 meters away, would be covered in bloodstains by this invincible fist wind, let alone passing through here. Done. Long Woody slowly retracted his fist, flew into the sky, to find Tang Chungyun, who was more than 50 kilometers away. The four of them split into two groups, Nanfeng and Xiao Luo in one group, Long Woody and Tang Chungyun in another. Each group was responsible for cutting off three main traffic routes. Now, Long Woody mission has been completed. Nanfeng and Xiao Luo aside, only the last traffic route has not been cut off. Everything went very smoothly. Suyana didn't seem to want to stop it at all. This made Long Woody feel uncomfortable, as if he had punched cotton. Does Suyana not care about this battlefield at all? Or to her, is there something more important than this place? Everything she does has only one purpose, which is to upgrade. Killing other strong men can also upgrade. She is too lazy to kill the strong men of level 45, and the strong men of level 46, except for the Emperor, there are only 4 of us. Thinking of this, Long Woody suddenly realized. He guessed where Suyana might be. Chapter 792 Suyana Target. In the Sun and Moon Mountains, in an uninhabited valley. This place is located on the edge of the Sun and Moon Mountains, and is the territory of a robed demon bear. Because the robed demon bear is powerful, and has an extremely powerful body protecting divine fire demon flame. So the soldiers of the 3 empires all tacitly avoided this place, and moved the battlefield far away, so as not to become the robed demon bear's dinner. The war did not affect this place, and the robed demon bear was also happy to be free. It occasionally went out hunting, and ate a few 2-legged beasts, and had a very happy life. But today, its good days were over. In the early morning, 2 2-legged beasts broke into the valley. Rib Demon Bear was very happy, and breakfast was delivered to the door, which was wonderful. It howled twice, patted its slightly deflated belly, and prepared to go out for dinner. But one of the 2-legged beasts suddenly had a gloomy face when it saw the human bones all over the valley, and punched it. And then, nothing happened. Ribbon Demon Bear's thoughts were still on the moment, when the 2-legged beast threw a punch. But its body had already turned into ashes, and drifted away with the wind. Grandpa Tang, let's wait here. Long Woody killed Ribbon Demon Bear with one punch, then turned to Tang Chungyun behind him and said, Brother Feng and Brother Xiao are on their way, and they will arrive in more than an hour. Let's rest here for a while. Tang Chungyun looked around and nodded. This place has not been affected by the war. It's a good place to rest. The two did not talk much, and each found a place to rest. Although they said they were resting, neither of them actually rested. Long Woody ran around the valley for more than 100 laps, and performed 2 sets of military boxing. After completing the warm-up, he began to absorb the magic power in the air, and began to practice. Tang Chungyun took out a whetstone, and polished his rusty short knife, with a serious look. Since he used the Emperor's green water divine sharpener last time, most of the rust on his short knife has been polished off, and it has become much sharper. After returning, Tang Chungyun mobilized the Tang family network of connections, and asked people to inquire around, hoping to buy a whetstone similar to the Biswishenli. Hard work pays off. After dozens of days of hard work, Tang Chungyun finally bought the whetstone in an auction. Good news, I bought the whetstone. Bad news, it's a fake. Useless. In fact, this whetstone is not a fake. It is used to sharpen other knives, and is still very useful. The knife can be sharpened to a very sharp point, but it is useless for the divine weapon. The rust on the knife cannot be rubbed off at all. It is really annoying. Tang Chungyun frowned, and was still working hard to sharpen the knife. Rubbing and rubbing on this smooth stone. He only hoped that with his persistence, there would be some effect. Even if a little bit of rust fell off, it would be good. In the sky, 2 figures landed in the valley one after the other. Nefeng glanced at Tang Chungyun, who was sharpening his knife, and asked in confusion, Mr. Tang, what are you doing? Are you trying to grind off the rust on the knife? Tang Chungyun nodded with a smile. Sorry to make fun of you, Master Nefeng. My short knife is very rusty, and I want to try to grind off some of it. You can't do it. Nefeng shook his head decisively. The whetstone of the Emperor is also a life-defining magic weapon. So it works? Your whetstone is made of good material, but it is not a life-defining magic weapon, so it is doomed to be useless. Nefeng had seen the Emperor's Bisui divine sharpener, and had also seen Tang Chung using it to sharpen his knife. Every time Tang Chungyun sharpened his knife, Nefeng could see a tiny wisp of magic flowing from the Bisui divine sharpener into the dagger. Now that I think about it, that wisp of magic should be the magic of the god of creation, or simply called divine power. It is precisely because of the divine power flowing into the dagger that the rust on the blade will fall off and it will shine again. How can an ordinary whetstone have such an effect? Is that so? Tang Chungyun was a little disappointed. Thank you, Lord Nefeng, for telling me, otherwise I don't know how long I would have to grind it. Tang Chungyun picked up the whetstone, wanted to throw it away, but he hesitated for a moment, and put it away. He spent 200 million copper coins to buy it. It would be a waste to throw it away like this. I sell it another day. Just say that this is the whetstone that Tang Chungyun used personally, and the Sword Emperor said it was good. Maybe I can even sell it at a higher price. On the other side, Long Woody completed a cycle of magic power circulation, and slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air. He opened his eyes, looked at Nefeng and Xiao Luo who had just arrived, smiled. How come it took so long to cut off 3 roads? No accidents happened? No accidents. Before Nefeng spoke, Xiao Luo spoke first. It's just that someone was lazy and did nothing. All the work was done by me alone. Look at what you said, I'm not suitable for this kind of work. Nefeng laughed, explained. You cut a line of death with one cut, and whoever crosses the line will die. I can't do that. Nefeng fired a shot. And the black ball that ate everything could devour a large mountain range. But what would happen after that? Nefeng didn't have the ability to keep the black ball in one place. In the final analysis, his control over magic power was too poor. Come to think of it, we made such a big noise. But Sayana didn't make any noise at all. Nefeng touched his chin and whispered. Did she see that we were so many and didn't dare to show up? Or did she not care about this place at all? Long Woody said, in fact, I roughly guessed Suyana location. Everyone heard this and looked at Long Woody. Suyana's most urgent thing now is to upgrade. For her, the fastest way to upgrade is to hunt down level 46 masters. She doesn't dare to do it when the 4 of us get together. The Emperor hasn't appeared for a long time and is missing. Then, her target can only be other level 46 masters. Tang Chungyun stroked his beard and wondered, besides us and the Emperor, are there other level 46 masters? Yes. Nefeng nodded. Nefeng alone knows more than one. For example, the first overlord in the ancient forest is a level 46 beast. Another example is the ancient ice crystal giant in the 9-layered demon tower. It was originally a level 47 beast, but it was suppressed in the demon tower for more than 100,000 years, and its strength dropped sharply. It is probably about level 46. For another example, Xiaonan once mentioned that there is a powerful old monster in the Sea of No Form, which is probably also level 46. Nefeng shared the information he knew with others. Xiao Luo pondered and said, So, Suyana faked a shot to lead us to the Sun and Moon Mountains. Did she go to kill the beasts herself? Long Woody shook his head and said his guess. I have been collecting information about Suyana. She rarely hunts beasts. Compared with beasts, she seems to like killing people more. Killing people? Nefeng frowned. But where is the level 46 person for him to kill? As far as I know, there is a person who is trying to reach the level 46 mark and is about to break through. Long Woody said, pointing his finger in the direction of the Haoyue Empire. Suyana's target may be the Moon Emperor.